Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Episode
3. Take one.
How do you get episode 3?
March.
Okay, well, hello and welcome to episode 36 of Oh Dear, presented by Bose Bar and Stage, coming to you from Communal Creative Studios by Bose in the heart of downtown Red Deer. I almost said coming to you live out of habit, but that is a gigantic lie because we probably recorded this at least 2 weeks before you're listening to it. But anyways, this episode is sponsored by Rock On Records, who are kind of a new sponsor, but also aren't at the same time. Formerly Sacks Thrift Ave, Rock On Records is in a new location, obviously a new name, and I guess a new business model, but same owner. So we're very excited to have Vincent join us once again. So that's coming up in just a little bit. And Vincent is here with us right now, so no one say anything bad about him.
Guy sucks.
I give you one instruction. Oh, this is going to be a long night. All right. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to Oh Dear. I'm Ted Emmett. Definitely a thinner looking crew than usual tonight, and I guess I mean that in more ways than one. But just 4 of us for this episode is Dustin, the athlete, Kevin Strybosh, and coworker Aaron. All couldn't be here tonight, but hey, that's why there's 7 of us now, and it was no small miracle, honestly, that there was 7 of us, all of us here, 2 episodes in a row. So don't get used to that. But let's talk about the people who are here, the ones who really care about this podcast, right? So I'm going to take another break from being mean, mainly because I don't want to waste any good jokes on you guys in a half full room, but also because it's nice to be nice. So with that being said, joining us as always at the table, even in the middle of tax season, so I don't know what everyone else's excuse is, the only Kevin in the room tonight and the OG Kevin of this podcast. Walsh, how's it going?
Hey, thank you, Ted. Very nice of you. It is tax season, so get your taxes into your accountant, please. The earlier, the better. So if you have the information, you might as well just drop it off or email it in. But other than that, going good so far.
And making his debut at the table tonight.
Wow.
Didn't take him long to graduate from the couch, which means he can't play on his phone the whole night. But either way, Andrew Russell, welcome to the big leagues.
Thanks. It's nice to be here. I feel like I should have been here from day one. That's cool. That's cool, guys. Happy to be here tonight.
You know what? Don't lose that confidence. I like that. But now you got to deliver, because last time you said you'd be good, the third word you said in the whole podcast was Ked.
I don't think I ever made any promises.
Last but not least, but definitely less than he used to be, which we'll talk about later, Ryan Lund, how's it going?
Let's go. I'm fired up. I'm fired up for tonight's show, Ted. Feeling good, feeling lighter on my feet, and really excited to interview Vincent tonight, hear what changes he's made, and hopefully he can give me some advice on which record to buy. So I'm ready for this one.
Oh, you seem like you've been drinking since noon playing golf, but I know you haven't.
No, I've been sleeping nonstop. I got all my energy built up for this episode, and I am ready to go.
You obviously had some couple coffees too. We have, of course, Riley from Communal Creative Studios supervising us tonight, which means he's going to interrupt us at least twice by making a bunch of noise in the background, but that's okay, because we couldn't do this without him, so we just put up with his crap.
Yeah,
We love you, man.
Hey, don't look over here.
All right, long intro is over, so let's start things off almost as we always do, because we have a different ad reader tonight, and he talked a big game. So Andrew, kick off the Glad game for us.
The Glad Game is brought to you by The Gutter, Red Deer's all-new bowling alley and the home of rare pizza. Whether it's a day with the family or a night out with friends, make The Gutter your go-to spot for bowling, pizza, and fun. Visit thegutter.ca to book your lane today.
I'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, you know what? That was a good start, and nowhere to go but up. But Lund, speaking of the gutter, you have a Glad game tonight that is kind of sort of gutter related.
Yeah,
not really.
Not really. I mean, so one of my business partners, their son Mike is an engineer on a NASCAR team, and that NASCAR team just happened to win the Daytona 500 a couple weeks ago. So it's pretty cool that we have a a Red Deer native that is a Daytona 500 champion. I've never really been into to NASCAR or motorsports, but I'm starting to get into it now. It's pretty exciting when you know someone and have a connection there. So, I mean, it's a huge achievement. So congrats, Mike, and keep it up. I'll be rooting for car number 24 going forward.
And I know, like you say, maybe NASCAR's not the biggest thing up here, but it's still a very pro and selective sport where, like, if you're on a team, you're the top 1% in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And I know he was highly educated and worked hard to get to where he is. So that's really cool.
And it was his, so William Byron is the driver. And I know that because I just binged the NASCAR series on Netflix, which honestly I highly recommend too. It's actually really good. But, and that was, I believe, his first race on that crew as well.
For Mike it was.
For Mike, yeah.
So it's quite the start to win the Daytona 500 on your first being in on the pit crew. I don't know exactly what his role is, but if you're on the pit crew, you have a very important job, whatever your job is. So can you imagine starting at the winning the Daytona? Like, he should just retire after the first race. But that's awesome. I mean, obviously Red Deer in Canada, it's all hockey and other sports, and you don't really think about NASCAR. But now we have a reason to watch another sport and gamble on another sport.
Which you blew it.
Oh
big
my
time.
God! So the day before, we were looking at the odds. And we were joking. You're like, oh, what are the odds? And the odds are like 20-1. And we're like, oh, too bad he wasn't one of the favorites. Otherwise, we'd put money on him. Like 20-1 is kind of a long shot. And of course, the next day, I was watching the race and he was leading. And I was cheering him on at the same time. I was like, oh, don't wait, because I could have won a whole bunch of money. But no, really cool to see. And I will be placing future bets on car number 24 in the future.
I prefer racing when they can turn right, but
oh, shade thrown.
Why not just watch it in reverse?
So
I just got the updated text. I learned Mike is a secondary engineer on William Byron's team. So basically, he's first replacement for the lead engineer on the team. Not sure exactly what he does, but that sounds pretty important. So congrats, Mike. Once again, that's awesome. Sure, Red Deer is going to be rooting for you at the next NASCAR race. So keep it up.
And if you're not first, you're last.
Well, you could be second or third or fourth.
That makes no sense.
And sorry, Walsh, before we move on, you actually had a little bonus for the Glad game, and it's a good one.
Yeah, so it was just recently from this recording that it was announced that the Donald family is giving $20 million to RDP to develop, I believe it's going to be called the Donald School of Health Tech Innovation. And essentially the vision is they want RDP to become a healthcare and a health tech pinnacle throughout Canada and North America in terms of training, bringing new programs to the school, expanding the nursing programs, cutting edge technology, all that kind of stuff. And so I was told that this $20 million is the second largest lump sum donation to an Alberta college in history, which is pretty incredible. They did the unveiling lunch last week and I was lucky enough to be able to go. And sitting there, they had done up these pamphlets that talked about the history of the Donald's giving to Red Deer College and Red Deer Polytechnic. And it's incredible the amount that this family has done for not just that school, but they've touched every major institution and organization in Central Alberta and more. So it was just another, great legacy for that family. And I'm really excited because I'm a big believer that if we can get more people in the health sector to train here and come here, they're likely to stay here. And we need those healthcare people. So it was an awesome celebration and great to see the Donald family, and just we're really lucky in Central Alberta that we have this family that continuously gives back the way they do.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I know Andrew talked about Jack Donald and his passing last episode. And yeah, like I said, the legacy for that family, I think, is going to live on in Red Deer for pretty much all of time.
And Jack was talked about lots because this lunch or ceremony was really like, I think, a month or two after his passing. So everyone had some great stories to share about him. And they said, that their family has always been very dedicated to healthcare. So this was one of the things that Jack was really passionate about. So it's great that the family's been able to carry it out in conjunction with RDP.
All right, with that, it's time for our feature interview with Vincent from our episode 36 sponsor, Rock On Records. This interview actually puts Vincent into a very quote-unquote elite category with his third appearance on Oh Dear, joining Mike Passman and Riley Kay. Definitely not a brag for any of those guys, but it is a fact nonetheless. But anyways, without further ado, let's get to it. All right. Well, for the third time, we have a three-peat with a guest, Vincent from formerly Sacks Thrift Ave, with us tonight, and our episode 36 sponsor, Rock On Records. First of all, I guess congratulations on the new-ish store, and welcome back.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So wait, what do you mean formally Sacks on Thrift? What's going on, Vincent?
So that's not what I said at all. But
Well, we used to be Sacks Thrift Ave. I was a part of this podcast about a year ago.
Do you remember that, Ryan?
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
of
think I
course
was
you
here.
remember it. That's when we had a rage room. For the record, we have no more rage room.
Oh, shoot.
We used to do a bunch of vintage clothing as well, but just due to certain circumstances with landlord and everything, we did move. We decided to rebrand, and now we're Rock On Records, and we focus on music. So it's mostly vinyl record sales. We also have CDs, equipment, some band merch, so lots of t-shirts and everything, but no more rage room. We still get phone calls every week. Do you have a rage room? Do you have a rage room? Sorry, no.
There's a lot of angry people.
yeah, I was
out
just saying
there.
that probably pisses people off, and now there's nowhere they can get that rage out.
It does. There's a lot of disappointment. There was talks about someone else opening one. Haven't heard anything yet. So if someone out there wants to open one, we will refer everyone over and give me a call. I've got a bunch of the equipment you can pretty much have.
Wow, that
Wow.
sounds like a deal.
Was there a big reason behind switching? I know Sacks Thrift Ave was already kind of becoming a lot more of a record store anyway. So what led to this decision to just focus on record?
Well, the move kind of came to be. I used to be part of ownership group of the building. I got outvoted. We sold the building. Couldn't work something out with the new landlord. Looked for other spots. Thought we had a deal. And at the last minute, we turned out to have to move. And it's been kind of a blessing in disguise. We're now, so that people know, we're over kind of down by the downtown KFC, right by United Way.
You had me at KFC.
Yeah.
It's on 53rd Street, I think.
Yeah, 53rd Street, across from Gates from Long and McQuaid. So it's a great little community there. The best part is we got free parking in the back. You just got to come in door 120. And now that we're really more focused, it's just, the clientele comes in. They like the location. We like the setup. And it's been really great.
I've been to your new shop, but you guys have quite the selection there too. Like I was overwhelmed with all the choices, and
For a guy who knows like 4 bands,
yeah. Can you imagine me in there? It's like-
Well, that was the other thing that was happening is our record selection just continued to grow. Sometimes in business where you try to do too many things, you don't succeed in any of them. But when you streamline something, it really just kind of brings everybody in. It feels like their shop. It's not a shop for a bunch of different people. It's the shop for music lovers, right? So we've seen a lot of benefit from that. Plus, our inventory just keeps growing. A good record store needs to constantly be bringing in more and more inventory. We are a smaller square footage, but now that it's all dedicated to what we predominantly do, it's kind of a really great space that we can utilize. So yeah, it's been very nice.
Do you miss getting out of the vintage and some of the other stuff that you did before?
The vintage was always interesting. You'd find some really cool pieces, like when you guys came in, that Looney Tunes leather jacket that, you still regret not buying.
I was
I'm
just
sure.
asking you about it, where it is these days.
And so those, you miss those, like the stuff that would randomly come in, but it's just much more business focused. It feels right. Like it just does. There's a different vibe to the store. You come in, it just feels like a record store, which is that much more important for our predominant customer, which was always the record buyers.
How has business been so far? Because has it been about a year since you switched over?
Yeah, we moved end of March. So we're just coming up on a year. People found us right away and zero complaints. Kind of a blessing in disguise. It was originally a really pressured thing. Like, to tell you guys, we thought we had a deal at our current location. And then we got notified basically February 25th that they're like, nope, we're not doing a deal. You need to move out by the end of March.
oh my god.
Wow.
And I had considered another place and the landlords didn't get back to me. And this was kind of one that I'd kind of looked at, considered, and we basically phoned them up. Funny thing was the listing agent was Andrew's father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we basically turned around and said, we said, we like the place. I want possession in 2 weeks. And, why the hurry? No reason. Do you want a tenant or not? Let's go.
Let me in.
And we had to push really hard, but we got it all done. We got the keys. I had 1 week to go do some renos and everything. And then the most incredible thing happened. And this was the thing that just reminds you so much about what this is all about, what being a business person in
a city the size of Red Deer. And it was very much our community because we kind of told everyone, hey, we're moving. It's happened abruptly and everything. And no word of a lie, we had 9 of our regulars offer to help us move on that day.
Holy
wow.
crap.
Wow.
And this was with like 2 weeks notice. And I kind of asked them, like, well, we're moving on a Monday.
Don't you work?
Yeah.
And 5 of them said, yeah, I work, but I'll take the day off to help you move.
Wow.
From a business's standpoint, to have your customers basically kind of be like, oh, you need help? We're there. That meant the world to
I
me.
couldn't even get 4 of my friends to help me
I was going to
move.
say,
Yeah.
or with your business, you had to like your closest friends, you had to bribe us
Yeah.
with pizza and whatnot.
Well, I did provide pizza.
Yeah.
They
But you
didn't want to
have
take
I was gonna
anything.
say,
I gave
yeah.
them all a gift card to the store as well and everything.
Nice.
But it's a stressful time, especially when something like that happens where you got to do it
Mhm.
abruptly and you're thinking about this long couple of days. And then all these people come together. A couple guys brought trucks and everything. And we just got it done.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You
So-
should have asked us.
Yeah, I guess we got
I mean, there's
guess
no
I
way
could
to
have.
prove a year later if we would have said yes or no.
Yeah, we would have
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My next move, I'll hold you guys to that.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
busy. I'm busy.
I mean, you touched on it earlier. It wasn't just that you had to kind of move abruptly, but you also had to change your business model. How long did it take you to make the decision to go? Like,
Well, we were
2
looking
records?
we were looking anyways at changing. We knew we were only going to be at our current location if something could have been reached for another year.
Yeah.
So we already had the plans in motion for choosing a name, everything else like that. We just had to now expedite the process.
Gotcha.
Okay. So it wasn't too bad because at the end of the day, you look at what your sales are and the thrift was interesting, fun, but a thrift store needs a big parking, free parking. It needs bigger square footage. It needs more inventory and it needs constant changeover. You can't do that in downtown Red Deer where you don't have free parking. And I only had like 2,000 square feet. You need like 5, 6, 7,000 square feet. You need a big parking lot. It was never going to take off in that location. And so it was just an easy choice to kind of be like, this is what's selling. When it was already the majority of our sales, pretty easy. It's still, like anything in business, you're always a little bit worried, but we're a year in now and, things happen for a reason. I'm glad it turned out that we had to move abruptly. This location is much better for us.
Yeah.
Everyone compliments the store. They really like it. You get a lot of customers that end up interacting more because it's a little bit smaller footprint and everything. So yeah, and they know everyone else in there is there for the same reason. Instead of it being somebody that checks out the records, but they're really there for the vintage clothing. Right? You don't want to strike up a conversation with that guy. So, yeah.
So how did you decide on Rock On Records? Like, did you have that name in the bank, or was it a lot of back and forth between a few others?
Geez.
Or did you ever consider naming it like Vincent's Vintage Records?
Vincent's Vinyl. It's
Vincent's
right there.
Vinyl.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's not about him.
We
Yeah.
we looked at a lot. I'll admit, we even put it into Chat GPT to see what came out.
You've never
can't.
used
Yeah,
that
what's
one.
that?
Yeah.
I can't remember where Rock On Records actually came from.
Okay.
It just kind of stuck. It's a better definition of Red Deer and our clientele. Rock is predominantly what we sell. It kind of just speaks to you. And then if you've seen the logo, like it's a classic Rock On, finger pose. And, it speaks, I think, to the community. It speaks to our customers. And that's what's most important, right? I guess technically there is one in the UK, but I don't think they'll ever sue us.
Yeah,
If anyone's
I
trying
think
the wrong one and doesn't figure that out, that's on them. Can you imagine the Facebook review on the Red Deer Rants and Raves? I drove all the way to the UK.
Yeah. Well, we did have somebody contact us on Instagram and say, hey, remember when I was in there, we were talking about how the people from Simple Minds and you could get me in touch with them. Can you still help me with that? And I just looked at this and I just shook my head. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? And I think that's when I pieced it together. That there was a location in the UK.
Oh,
and
that's hilarious.
So, it's like, so they probably were in that shop talking to that guy.
Yeah, if you ever go to the UK, you're gonna have to check
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I'll bring him like I do with all the shops I go to visit. I bring him one of my tote bags. We
Nice.
try to exchange tote bags. If you've got a tote bag, a record tote, and I've got
Okay.
one, and
Yeah.
we kind of swap them.
Yeah, if you're looking to meet simple minds, I guess Vincent isn't your guy, but he is sitting here with 2 very simple minds tonight.
Yeah,
right?
Ted
and Walsh.
Ted and Walsh. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vincent, I know what too. This is probably a really good time to be a more just a focused record store, because I feel like vinyl is bigger now than it's really been since it was kind of the only option, right? Like I see for a while it was, your indie bands were putting out a lot of their new records on vinyl, and then you get, I know like Arkells have done it, but now even like the Taylor Swifts of the world too, right? So you getting a lot more like new albums on vinyl.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like everyone's been pressed now for a few years. Was a niche thing about 10 years ago, and just starting to come back. Most recently, every Taylor Swift album got pressed. We've had people come in galore for those, because the biggest limitation right now is the lack of pressing capabilities, because there's not that many pressing plants out there. Artists sometimes have to wait 2+ years to get their stuff pressed onto vinyl. It's a challenging thing, because it's not like when we were young and we'd go to HMV and you asked for a CD, they'd basically say, oh, we don't have it in stock, but
let me burn you one right now.
No, they'd literally get it. Like if it was Monday, they'd get it in for you by Thursday, because they were selling that many CDs, and they would have shipments twice a week, and they could literally put in the order and have it there in no time. All summer, everyone's asking, you got any NoahCon? You got any NoahCon? It was just like, no, like we'll see when we get it, everything. Well, they pressed some right before Christmas. We got 13 copies. They were gone in 24 hours. And then we got some more. Those were gone again in 24 hours. We finally now just got some more this past week. We've got 4 left. So
and by the time this recording airs,
we'll probably be out again. So it's a very different market. People come in all the time asking for a record, and what we'll do is we'll put one on back order and we'll give you a call when we get it. When's that going to be? I don't know. Next month, a year from now, 2 years from now, we'll give you a call. Wow. That's about it. And so record collecting is very different. You have to be patient, because what will happen is when they aren't in press, some people go to the online market, but what happens is people jack up the price because you can't just get them from a wholesaler right now. But the second they're pressed again, the price shoots way back down. That's the option.
So they're like the original NFTs now. Basically, except they're an actual thing that you can use and listen to. Have you found, like, are the Taylor Swift albums like the hottest ones, or is that not so much your like clientele there? Because I know in general, I can assume they're very hard to get.
Our typical clientele are not Taylor Swift fans. However, we have a lot of people coming in and buying a lot of Taylor Swift albums because they've all been pressed. We are literally selling 12 to 15 Taylor Swift albums a week.
Wow. It's a lot of people who just want to feel their feelings, I guess.
And then God forbid, she doesn't have one coming out on Record Store Day this time, but last time she did, and people will line up for it. So,
I bet.
And then those pressings, typically they're special pressings, colored pressings, whatever. Give them 6 months, a year, and they're selling for 4 times the price they did on Record Store Day. So
based on what you've said about the record pressing industry, it sounds like she should probably just create her own manufacturing plant and press her own records.
With what money, Kevin?
Well, the bigger issue is that the record labels don't want to get into pressing. So the record labels themselves, they just want the CD to come back. Production of the CD is so easy. They made so much money back in the day. So what happens right now is the Universals of the world and everything, they have all the artists and they kind of hold that over the pressing plants and kind of demand they get their stuff done. But on the flip side, they're kind of like shooting themselves in the foot. So now a newer indie band that's just up and coming is going on tour. And because we need 600,000 Taylor Swift albums pressed, they get bumped and now they go on tour and don't have records to sell to their customers. And that's going to hurt their development. And that new group are going to be the people that sign with the big labels in the future. Okay. But this is hindering their growth in the industry. So that's why a lot of people in the industry are saying, hey, Universal, Warner, Sony, go out there, build your own pressing plants. This is here to stay. But they're not really interested in doing that. So that's kind of the troubling time. But it also makes kind of record collecting fun because it's the search.
Yeah.
You know, you got to remember, people come into the store and to a certain extent, in one way, it's free entertainment. They'll come in and they'll literally flip through the boxes looking for something. You can see it on their face when they see something there that they've been looking for a long time. They get really excited and everything. But I was in Toronto and Montreal this summer. I went to 23 record stores between the two cities. You know,
geez.
it's all, I'm looking for certain titles that my people want, also just to see how other record stores are doing it, getting ideas, everything else like that. And that's the common thing that most record collectors have, is just the enjoyment of going into a new record store. We had a guy from Calgary today, never been in before, and he's like, dude, you got great stuff in here. Because there are some record stores out there that are functioning with just new records or not much good inventory, and you just kind of write them off. And that was always our biggest challenge, was making sure we had the inventory of the records people want. Because you kind of get a customer, they find you and they'll come in once. If they don't really find anything, they don't think you have quality, they'll come check you out one more time, then they'll totally write you off. And that's the biggest thing. That's kind of the scary part. So I don't have anxiety as much about selling records. I get a little bit more anxious when we haven't had like used collections come in a while.
Right.
And so I'm not restocking that, because your regulars will notice. But it's a fun little community.
So how do you go about filling your inventory? Like, is it you going around all these different shops and saying, oh, or are you going around to garage sales and rummaging through until you find some gold? Or are you ordering it from
Like a big distribution
Yeah.
company.
Well, the new stuff is you just get it from the wholesalers, right?
Yeah.
When it's in stock.
You're
So
not
again,
getting the
challenge
Taylor
is-
Swift at the garage sale.
No. Like the challenge right
Well,
now
maybe.
is when something gets pressed, you're trying to decide yourself, well, when will this get pressed again? If you think it's going to be 2 years,
Mhm.
I need to order a 2-year supply of this record. All right. So that's the challenging part.
So for you, is it just kind of like a gut feeling, or like, is there like some research you can do, or
You
like-
really need to get to know your clientele
Yeah.
and know what they're buying. And sometimes you make the right call, sometimes you make the wrong call. Greta Van Fleet hadn't been pressed in a while, got in 20 copies, and 11 sold the first weekend. Ordered another 20 copies, and they've slowly sold ever
Yeah.
since, because sometimes there's 15 people looking for that. Once they've got that album, now how many more are out there?
Yeah.
So new albums, that's the challenging part about that, is making sure you have them on back order, you get them. Because you could have them on back order, and when they come in, all the people on back order get them and no one else gets them.
Right.
So if you don't have it on back order, you might not get any. Used records is the bigger challenge. And yeah, when I first started, it was like, check out garage sales, check out thrift stores, everything. The time for what you get out of that just isn't there anymore. I only go look at really big collections. And then the longer you've been established, and another good reason for us to change location and name, more importantly, is when people search now, when they search record store before,
Mhm.
we would come up as Sacks Thrift Ave. But people are like, oh, it's a thrift store. It's
Right.
not a record store. I'm not going to contact them to sell my records. But now that we're Rock On Records, we've seen a lot more people contact us when they're looking to sell a collection.
So is it? So I'm picturing like you guys know that show Pawn Shop or Pawn.
Do you know that show?
Well, I've seen it before.
Pawn Stars.
Pawn
Pawn
Stars.
Stars,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. So I'm
Vegas.
picturing that. That's what happens. They come in, they put their records that they want to sell you on the table in front, and then you guys just negotiate over what you think it's worth, and then you strike a deal.
Well, typically these are much larger collections. So, we do have people that bring in a box or something, but I bought collections as big as like 3,000 records.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, when you get into the bigger collections, it's kind of a price per unit after
Okay.
looking through it. We do things a little differently, because most of them will just flip through, give them a price per unit and go. We like to help visualize it, because you got to remember, back in the day, everything was pressed. Your church's choir got pressed on vinyl. Those records are still floating around. In most collections, it's 10, 15% that we actually want. And then there'd be a bit more where it's like, we got lots of copies, but it does sell a little bit. But 70, 75% of our collections, they'll go in a $1 bin, a $5 bin, or we'll sell the entire box for $5.
Right.
And so we try to kind of, and it's been very successful for us, when they bring in a collection, we kind of separate it into those 3 piles. The ones where we're like, hey, we're going to pay you a certain percentage of what we retail it for. These are the records we actually want. And there's another pile where it's like, we'll give you $1 a piece because we've got lots of copies, or this album almost never sells. And then the biggest stack is always this one where it's like, we don't want this. And so how we communicate that to them is like, you can decide what you want to sell to us, but you have to sell us pile 1 and 2 to leave the 3rd pile here.
Oh, okay.
If you only sell us pile 1, you have to take pile 3 away, because it costs us money to go
Space,
through those,
yeah.
put them in the box, square footage as well. And when we literally sell off a box of those albums for $5, we don't make any money on
Right.
it. And, that helps a lot of people visualize, because when they bring in 500 records and they're thinking records are hot and everything, and I'm going to, it's going to be worth a lot of money. And you just tell them this is all it's worth, because it's not a bunch of records we want, they're a little disappointed. But when you put it into those piles, they visualize it and they see it. And so we've been having a very high percentage where people bring in the records, like it's 98% of people end up selling them to us. And that's the important thing, because you got to keep that inventory turning over and keep coming in, because people are always looking for something new and fresh that's in the store.
So Vincent, kind of on the flip side of that, as far as like record prices go, I assume they're going to be different based on who it is, how old it is, the condition and that, right? Like I have to assume Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones going to be a little pricier than like an Air Supply record, right? How do you set those, if you want to give away your secret? Is that also like a gut feeling thing, or is there actually like some kind of resource to help you price out a certain album?
Yeah, there definitely is. Like there's the online market, okay? We have a lot of people coming in and quoting eBay, and the truth is eBay numbers mean nothing to us, okay? There's actually a site called Discogs. It's generally known nowadays in amongst, actual record collectors, and it's where I would guess 80% of online records, used records, are sold. The only problem with it, because anything that's posted up there, it tells you what it sold for, everything. It has a condition rating. You all go by the standard. But as more people get into record collecting and using that site, you're seeing where they don't fully understand the site. So Let It Bleed is a perfect example. There is probably 15 different pressings of that album. But what we're seeing now is people are putting a reissue under the same listing as a first pressing. And then it sells for this drastically lower price. And then people are kind of like, oh, well, why is this? So again, it's a resource, but like anything, you have to interpret the data. And sometimes it can be really quite hard to interpret that data. And what I'm really noticing is it's becoming harder and harder because you're seeing inaccurate sales, because Discogs is not governed by anybody. Anybody can go there, put something on and everything and claim to have that record. But you're not all of a sudden coming out with 30 original pressings of, what did I see recently? Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. There's not all of a sudden 20 sealed copies of that, of the original press, now just coming onto the market. No, there was a reissue recently and they've gone and listed it under the wrong one. So we use that as a guide, but you got to remember is that anybody buying on there is also paying shipping. So if our records are more expensive than that, it's because it's there. You get to see it. You get a warranty, as in like if it doesn't play as expected when you take it home, come back and exchange it, and you're not paying any shipping. And shipping is expensive in Canada. Like you'll ship a record in Canada is starting at $20 for one record.
So for all your records then, do they all come with warranty, or is that something that you just add on?
Oh, we always just say if you're unhappy with anything, we can't play test them all first before we sometimes a record could look perfect and it doesn't play perfectly. It could skip, it could whatever else. Just come and exchange it. After all, I don't want to bicker with somebody over $20 and possibly lose a customer over something where I don't actually know if it did play properly, right? Yeah. So we've just always had that policy. It's just about making the people happy. Yeah. And that's a big advantage over the online market. You get something, they might reimburse your money, but now you got to pay for shipping again to get it back to them.
Well, and if it doesn't work, it's a nightmare to send it back and get a refund, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why record collecting, between the cost of shipping and just that playing a record, again, is very like tactile. Like you touch something, you put it on and everything. And same with the collectors. They like that about records. So they want to go in there and they want to flip through the records. They want to pull it out. They want to look at the condition. They want to be around other people that are into this. And so that's why I always relate to it's like, and I tell like Noah, who works at the store, provide people an experience in the store. It's not about selling records. You're not selling a product. You're selling an experience. Yeah. And that's the big thing that, everything with retail in general nowadays is if you're focused just on selling a product, it's really hard to compete with online, everyone else like that. But now if you're selling an experience, they don't get that from online shopping. And that's the most interesting thing. The young people that come in that have never touched a record, never, experienced all that. And you have a good setup, a good turntable, amp, speakers there, and you put on a song that they know and they hear it and they hear the difference in the quality, they're sold immediately. They understand when all they've ever listened to digital music and they remove 30% of the sound. When you hear it fully on proper equipment, their eyes light up. So that's what we ultimately sell, is that experience and the dopamine rush you get from it as well.
You guys sell dopamine there too?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's free. You hear this. it's like,
Yeah.
you see, it's a reason for you to get into
Oh,
this,
yeah.
So,
Yeah, you guys hiring right now?
we have a volunteer program for high school students.
Okay.
I think
You
we're
can-
going to find out very
Okay.
quickly that you do not belong in a record store.
But,
What do you mean?
but
He can
he
go-
might make a
I can give a good experience.
yeah.
In general, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're looking for any knowledge or like the right answers, I'm probably not the guy, but I can give an experience.
But I think they've always said you need to go back to school. So
Yeah?
it's like Billy Madison and you can go retake the grades.
He
And then you
started
can-
back at like kindergarten or grade one.
Well, call me when you get to grade 10 because then
Okay.
you can get school credits and, you can come put in some
That
time
would
at the
be pretty
record
fun
store.
too, actually.
Yeah. That sounded like a hard no on no on the actual job.
That's
though.
very polite. No,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. What is one record that you don't have but would like to acquire? Like, what's your golden goose?
Oh, it's always some original press stuff.
Yeah.
Original press Weezer, anything.
Mm.
Is always on my list. I recently found, I didn't even realize it was originally pressed because I think it came out, 96? It's Tori Amos, Boys for Pele. Anyways, but
Of course.
yeah. I found that recently. Oh, so my absolute grail album is Rush's first album, but pressed on its original Moon label. So before they became anybody and they just kind of went to wherever, got some records pressed to sell at their gigs that they were doing, it was on a label called Moon Records or Moon. And anyways, so I think originally there was I should have looked this up ahead of time, about 1,500 copies, but a whole bunch of them were destroyed over the years.
Yeah.
And now that they're, one of the biggest bands of all time, right? To find an original Moon label pressing is extremely rare. I've only somebody listed one for sale in Calgary. I thought his price
how
was
much?
he only had a VG copy, which means it's going to play with some ticks and pops.
Okay.
And he was asking 800.
So what
VG
would a
plus
pristine copy
a
run?
pristine, if it was truly near mint, $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and in the record world, that's not ridiculous. There's a lot of records like that.
I think people spend a lot more on Star Wars memorabilia
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Honest
right?
to
There's
God.
hockey cards that just went for $5 million. So
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
we are still kind of in the infancy of the resurgence of vinyl. So the more people that get into it, the more people that want original press, Miles Davis and everything, we'll just see that stuff because you can't make anymore.
So the people that have these boxes of vinyl at their house that they might be thinking of donating or giving away or doing a garage sale, is that something they should look for before they give it away? Is
They should
that
definitely bring it in.
original, anything that says
Oh, okay.
original press.
It
Or-
will never say original press.
How do you know? How do you know if it's
Okay,
an original
so-
press?
Original press is, in the case of the Rush album, it will be on Moon label. So the label, after that, they signed with Mercury, and then they were also with Anthem at one point. Okay. So they're pretty easy on that first record. But sometimes where they've stayed on the same record label and the label hasn't changed, there's actually what's called a matrix and a run out. After the songs all end on the side, they actually etch numbers or letters into that area. So when you're going to go and compare it to other ones, you have to cross-reference that matrix.
It's like a serial number, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. But they also have they have a number on the record for a quick search to find all the titles, all the pressings of that record. And this is the more concrete one that you have
So
to
that's
go
an
and
easy
look
way
at.
to kind of look it up to see if it's worth something.
Well, easy is again, you literally take this out and you got to look in the light and you have to
your
read the
magnifying
etchings
glass.
that's hard to look at.
Okay.
And then you got to go, because you got to remember, Discogs is not run by anybody. Anyone can post something. So now you got to look for the listings that actually have that details and everything in it.
So just go to Rock On Records.
Yeah,
It's much easier.
You sure you don't want to hire this guy?
honest to God, we get excited to tell people when they actually have something super
Do you
valuable.
guys do appraisals of the record? Hey man, this one's worth
We-
$400. Or would you
we
say,
would
hey,
only
we'll
tell
buy it
them
off
if there
you
was
for
something
$400?
super expensive and tell them what we'll pay.
Yeah.
We don't tell them individually what each album is worth.
Okay.
Unless they kind of well, I want to keep this one and this one, and we'll be okay, well, this is what removes from the price tag.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be where people just come to us, we price them all for them,
And
and
they
they
go
go and
list
sell
them.
them
Yeah,
themselves,
fair
right?
enough.
So we're trying to find a balance. We are going to tell them the ones that do have value,
Mhm.
and we're going to put that in a pile for them.
Right.
So they are going to get a lot of knowledge and everything. And we just accept that occasionally someone comes in and uses us for our time and everything,
Yeah.
and we get nothing out of it. But that's the nature of any business, right? So, it's okay.
So I guess the last question for you, Vincent, this is an important one because it's basically the reason why we had you here in March is that in April is a record store day.
Yeah,
Middle of
so
April?
there's 2 record store days a year, and the big one's always kind of later half of April. This year it's April 20th. All right, so
Why?
they just chose that date. However, one of the releases is Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
Oh, weird.
So, anyways, it just so happens to fall on that day. It's
their
always on a
favorite month.
Saturday.
Yeah, is that their birthday?
They like springtime.
Yeah. And then there's also a lesser one, Black Friday. In past years, we've been a little underwhelmed with the special releases that come out on that day. This one we're actually excited about because there is some pretty good titles, a lot of stuff that's never appeared on vinyl before, or albums that the only copies in existence sell for over like $200. And they also have reduced the amount they're pressing of them. They're bringing back a bit more rarity to that day because they started kind of really overpressing things. And it started to become hard for record stores because you'd order in a whole bunch. And then when you didn't sell them and you got stuck with them because they just overpressed it, it was tough. So the flip side is I'm expecting us to order a bunch and not get everything. But there's definitely a few that we're really, really excited about. One from our era is, you guys remember Collective Soul?
Oh,
They have
who doesn't?
never pressed. It's arguably what their best album was, either that self-titled blue cover and everything, or the other one is Dosage. And Dosage is being pressed for its first time ever on this record store day. And they're only pressing 2,000 of them. So considering that the original blue self-titled one goes for like $150 to $200 and has had reissues for a first time for Dosage to come out, that album the next day might be worth $100, $150.
This sounds a lot like playing the stock market.
Yeah, one's
Like,
going to go buy a bunch
There's
of
elements of it for sure.
might
This one
start
doesn't say
dabbling.
original press on it. I don't want it.
Just toss it in the fire. No good.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been telling all my regulars who are not into Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
I said, if there's a Taylor Swift release
Would you
that day,
buy it?
just buy it. And you can legitimately sell it back to me for double the money in 6 months.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to sell it for like
Yeah.
triple the price.
Well,
in 2
so-
more months.
Record Store Day last year, Taylor Swift had a special pawn session, something she did during the pandemic. And it was selling for $65 on Record Store Day. Last time I looked it up, it was going for $170.
Oof.
And that's not even a year from now. And then some of her previous Record Store Day releases, colored versions of her other albums, can go as much as $500.
So invest in Taylor Swift.
Well, special releases of Taylor Swift. We all joke around, and someone said to me the other day, it's like, yeah, with the amount of Taylor Swift we're selling, in 20 years, it's just going to be coming in the door just as used stuff galore to us.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so much of it.
yeah, so it all kind of runs its course, right? So we'll see.
So are you guys, as Rock on Records, you doing anything special too for
Record Store Day,
Yeah.
it might be the last time we do it, but we've always had a punch wall. And so it's basically you pay a bit of money. Our last one for Black Friday, one of our neighbors is United Way. And so it's just $2 to do the punch wall and a bunch of free stuff in there. Like we give away so much value in that wall. Everyone loves doing it. And then we gave all the like $110 that we earned from that over to the United Way to our
nice.
neighbors and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to do some form of a punch wall again. We might incorporate, and I brought a few treats from you. One of our neighbors, Finn and Faye, they're like a locally made collective, locally made goods, as well as they are coffee shop. And then them themselves, the owners, are known for their treats and especially their candy apples. So I brought a few for you guys to try. Past years, we've had their candy apples in the punch wall. We've given away their stuff to everyone lined up for Record Store Day. I brought you my favorite. My favorite is not the turtle, the s'more with actual like roasted marshmallows on it and everything. So we're going to give those a try and everything. But yeah, again, as part of our community, we always say we moved. We've got new neighbors. Hey, we got to support our neighbors, right? We go get our coffee every morning from Finn and Faye. I had to try their candy apples and now I willingly buy them all the time as a treat because they are quite wonderful.
Hey
So-
man, an apple a day.
yeah, they're
there
good
you
for
go.
you, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
That's what I learned on my journey to fitness.
Yeah. And then for Record Store Day, we also have like some special records that I stash away and bring it out on that day. And then, of course, you have the special releases. And then we try to do a few other fun things. We changed up maybe a big discount on band shirts or, patches or some free CDs, whatever else, just to make sure our whole clientele base gets something from the day. I'm hoping for 50 people lined up to get in when we open.
Oh, wow.
We had 33 last April. So, it's always a big day for all record stores. And it's, and it's kind of to give back because vinyl only came back because of the record stores that survived through all the hard times. Like,
that's pretty impressive.
We got record stores in Edmonton or Calgary that have been around since 80s and 90s and everything. And somehow they survived throughout all these years. And now we're seeing it where, like, I was just in Mexico City this fall and I was talking to one guy, and in the Roma district of Mexico City alone, in the past year, 6 record shops have opened up. Okay. So this is becoming even worldwide, where even in, other countries, this is taking off. And that's why we kind of say we're still in the infancy of the true value of a collectible for records. So, Lund, not working, time to come and invest in records and,
find those original press.
You piqued my interest. Yeah.
All right. Well, Vincent, your time here is not done because you are going to come back on in a little bit. You said you had a quiz. I don't know if you use it anymore, but it was basically like 100 albums, and you have to try and name the artist to see how many you can get. So we're going to do that once Andrew gets here. We're going to do that as our game. So I guess in the meantime, thank you so much for coming back again. It's always a pleasure talking to you, especially now with kind of the new business and all this new stuff to talk about. But we really appreciate your continued support of the podcast. Even after we left and came back, you were one of, if not the first businesses to come back on board. So thank you again. Good luck as Rock On Records continues to grow, and please don't make this quiz too hard.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Rock on, Vincent.
Yeah. Thanks. Turn
He's been waiting the whole time.
Yeah, right. I was waiting for that. Yeah.
A huge thank you once again to Vincent for yet another great interview, and of course to Rock On Records for being our episode 36 sponsor. And yeah, Vincent's sitting right here, so we can't say anything bad about him. And it might be weird with you sitting here, Vincent, but I'm going to say it anyways because Vincent is the type of guy I think that helps Red Deer small business thrive. Right? He talked about building the community, the experience. A great supporter of this podcast, inexplicably, but yeah, always a lot of fun. I know, Len, you probably could have gone another half hour in that interview.
Oh yeah, I had about 10 or 12 more questions that I didn't get in there, but I'll save it for his fourth appearance on this podcast.
No, Vincent actually, as we said in the interview, he's going to be back on a little later on in the show. Andrew, you don't know this, but we're playing a music-related game at the end of the show. Yeah, it's going to be we won't spoil anything, so we'll get to that in a bit. So let's keep things rolling. Forgot how nice it is with just 4 of us here as we move into a segment about everything and nothing at the same time, shooting the breeze.
Bang, bang.
Nice fade out.
You like that?
Yeah, I can't take any credit for that fade out. That was all on.
That was natural. That was a natural fade.
Shooting the Breeze is brought to you by Red Stag Barbershop, an authentic experience with a modern twist. Your locally owned grooming spot with locations in Capstone, Gasoline Alley, and Sylvan Lake. It's where friends gather for top-notch haircuts and traditional hot shaves, all while enjoying a cold craft beer or cocktail. With their easy online booking, they make sure your time with them is not just about looking great, but feeling at home. Red Stag Barbershop, where every visit feels like catching up with old friends.
All right, so to start off, we do have to talk about Red Stag again because since the last episode, everyone but Andrew has now been to Red Stag, and that includes coworker Aaron. But Andrew, I know you're like me too, kind of reluctant to go see a new hairdresser, but at the very least, I think you should go, and that glorious beard deserves a nice hot shave and trim from Red Stag. And yeah, really recommend it. I think everyone looks great. Lundy, you and I went the day before our final weigh-in for the Fit or Quit challenge. We got treated to a haircut and a hot shave, and I found out it actually was the first hot shave you've ever had. What did you think?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know what to expect going in, but it was a very relaxing process. I don't know how many oils they put on my face, but it's probably 4 or 5. And then they put these nice warm cloths over your face after each oil. And I almost fell asleep at one point. It was so relaxing. But I would do it again in a heartbeat. I've got very sensitive skin too, so they gave me some aftershave that really helped out. Like I don't know what took me so long to try a hot shave. I would probably have a great beard by now if I did a hot shave like 5 or 10 years ago. So in 10 years from now, I'll have a great beard.
What is that based on?
When you cut like close to the skin, it opens up the pores and lets your hair follicles grow out.
But you think if you had one hot shave 10 years ago,
no, I would do it.
Better.
I would do it like routinely, and it would just treat my skin, and then I would have a glory. I'm expecting a good beard by like my mid 40s. So hopefully I can get there.
And Walsh, you were just there too, and we actually just today posted the picture of your haircut. It's getting a lot of likes because it looked sharp. How was your experience?
It was awesome. It's great for me because they're actually like a block away from my office. So it was, I didn't even know they had craft beer because I was there at 9 a.m. It was easy to get in, booked online. I was in with a vet. She was great, made me feel real comfortable. And honestly, I've had the same haircut for like 10 years. So I kind of said, hey, like I'm open for suggestions. And we kind of talked about it. And she's like, well, is there anything you don't like? And I'm like, well, no. And she's like, well, then why wouldn't we just keep it the same? But then my part, she's like, it looks like it's creeped up. I don't even know what side I'm looking on. This one?
Yeah.
But then she's like, well, I'll just like move it down.
They can do that?
Yeah, apparently.
Man.
And she just did it. But we had some great conversation and we started talking about, she was asking me about books I read. And so I read a book about Vince McMahon and we got really off topic about some recent allegations about Vince McMahon and that I won't go into here, but we had some interesting conversation. Let's just say that.
But yeah, so it's great to hear it. You know, Dustin went as well the day after London I went, and even Aaron went too. They do female haircuts. Of course, you don't think with a barber, right? That's where most women would go. But yeah, it's a great experience. I know I have to give a huge shout out to Courtney. I think anyone who knows me knows I'm really particular about my hair. I care about it a lot, and a bad haircut just honestly sends me spiraling. But not only did she do a great job, she actually convinced me, just Kevin, you know, you said, hey, let's do something different. I thought, okay, it's the end of this fitness challenge. Let's make the transformation complete and do something different. So for the first time in like 6 years, I don't have long hair. I mean, it's longish. It's not a short cut, but the curls, the 16-year-old hockey hair on the side is all gone. And yeah, I was nervous, really happy with it though. And I actually finally look like a grown-up, which until I start talking, but at least I look the part now. So seen almost everyone there now, I think. Lund, you and Aaron both saw Sierra, and then I saw Courtney, and yeah, Strybosh and Dustin both went and saw Steven. So thank you again to Clayton, everyone at Red Stag for the experience. Andrew, I guess you're up next.
I can't deny it. You guys all look great. Your haircuts turned out great. Beard trims were good. I just think the cheek lines were nice. I noticed that in the photos you posted. So yeah, shout out to Red Stag. I might have to go give it a shot.
Yeah, let's go. We'll get the whole crew in there.
And yeah, so Dustin and Strybosh both had nothing but great things to say about their experience with Steven. And Steven actually is going to be our first guest on Barbershop Talk, so you can look for that a little later on. At some point in March, we're going to go in. He has quite the backstory too, really overcame a lot and now is doing great as an apprentice barber at Red Stag in Capstone. I know people really like him a lot and have enjoyed their experiences with him. So here's just a quick clip from that interview.
One of my main goals in my life in general is to break down stigmas around people suffering and struggling with addiction. So I actually endured a whole whackload of child abuse. Like the first decade of my life was riddled with child abuse. I got started on hard drugs at the age of 12. So it was super, super early. And recovery for me today is not necessarily about not doing drugs. It's about creating a life that I don't need to run away from anymore. Because that's really all it was. I was trying to escape from a reality that I was brought into, right? And I mean, today, I went through a whole bunch of stuff growing up. I don't put any blame on anybody. It is what it is. And I would not go back and change it because of the things that I've learned and the people that I've been able to help. If it was up to science, I wouldn't be here, right? Especially that last overdose was in January of 2016 or 15. I don't know. I don't keep track of time because it's quality of time, not length of time. But that, if it was up, my heart had stopped for 3.5 minutes. If it was up to science, I would not be sitting here. And so that shows me that there's a bigger purpose. There's a bigger reason. I don't know what it is, but I wake up every day and try to make a difference and be better than I was yesterday.
So a huge thank you again to Steven for sharing his story with us. Again, for being the very first guest on Barbershop Talk. You can catch that full interview on Oh Dear's YouTube page. You can find more clips from our social media pages as well. And yeah, just Barbershop Talk, I think off to a great start. And you can look for that every single month. So now let's move on to something I think a lot of people are eager to hear us all chat about, as the Fit or Quit Challenge has come to an end. At the, time that we're recording this, it's been about a week week since we did our final weigh-in. So before we get too deep into the conversation, because Dustin and the athlete both couldn't be here for the recording, we actually recorded a bit of a breakdown of the whole challenge right after we announced the winner. So here's that conversation. All right, well, a little bit different. We're doing this segment live from the Bulldogs Training Center. We just finished our last, ceremonial workout of the Fit or Quit Challenge. We just crowned a winner, and you know what? I guess I'll let Kevin take it away and just kind of tell us how everyone did.
Yeah, so we finished off last week with our weigh-ins on Thursday and Friday. Everybody finished with over 6%, which means no punishments. I think that's a big win for all of you. I think that was your main goal.
It's a loss for everyone else that would be at the Spice Girls night, but you know what? That was the motivation, and we did it.
Hey, anyone can still dress up if they want to, though, right?
That's right. So it's pretty impressive that Dustin finished in third and he lost 16.2 pounds. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, 16.2 pounds, that's pretty crazy. And what did we do? 6 weeks, so 18 workouts. I think I only completed 14 of those workouts with child sickness and sickness myself. And so it just goes to show what actual commitment to working out and commitment to a little bit of a diet and portion sizes can do in a short 6 weeks. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then these two guys over here each lost over 20 pounds, which is incredible. Ted with losing 21.2, finished at 207.6 with his total weight, and Lundy got down to 204, which is unbelievable. Almost lost 25 pounds.
I wasn't expecting that. For a little while, I was kind of stuck at that 212, 213. I used a lot of tricks and helpful tactics to get down, and I think it paid off for me, and I think for these two guys, we're going to have to find something to keep us motivated to keep it off or to keep going, because this challenge was good motivation, something to strive for. It wasn't too long. 6 weeks, I think, is a really good length. It was tough some nights to turn down those beers, and then other nights you just knew you were gonna have to work out twice as hard the next day if you were drinking or eating lots. But I learned a lot, and I actually had some fun doing it. Yeah.
It was enjoyable because we did it together, and I think I've done challenges before, and that's why we did it, right? Was to motivate each other. I know London and I kind of started almost as a joke when we had our first comeback episode there, and now it turned into over about 60 pounds lost between the three of us. And what I liked about this challenge too is it was three very different people, honestly, different body types, different walks of life. And I have to say, Dustin, for someone with a full-time job and 2 young kids to lose 16 pounds in 6 weeks, and really you only did these workouts mostly, right? And eating well. So it goes to show, even if you're setting a 3-month, 6-month goal, you can do it.
Without the challenge, it probably would have been very, very hard. Having the challenge and being committed to something with 4 other people made it a whole lot easier to get to the gym. And once you're at the gym, it's easy, right? Like it's, you're there, you want to put in the time and the effort. And once you do work out, it's easier to eat healthy at nighttime because you don't want to just lose that gain you just made in the gym. So it was tough. Like, kids are my 2 young kids are busy and we got stuff going on all the time, and the bowling alley's been busy and just life's busy, and same for you guys. Like, maybe not Lund, he's a little bit unemployed right now, but Ted, you got a job that you're working at 5 a.m, and you were in Calgary for a week. You committed yourself to going to different gyms in Calgary, so it was just cool to see. It's in the social media spotlight too, so you also don't want to embarrass yourself.
And but Lund, for you again, a little different because you're not working right now. You have the bowling alley. You had a busy social calendar though, right? With a stag party in there as well, and a wedding and all of that. But did you find too, obviously making the time for the workout wasn't quite as hard, but I know for me, having more spare time sometimes is just more time to be bored and eat.
Yeah, I found that was a battle for me too. The trick I found is just to stay busy, keep your mind occupied so you're not tempted just to grab that snack or to grab some food from something easy and convenient that may not be the healthiest. Always have your fridge stocked with some healthy options that you enjoy. And then, the workout part, I think I found pretty easy. It was the cutting down on the eating and drinking that was my biggest hurdle. So yeah, still going to be a battle, but picked up some good habits along the way and just need to keep it going.
Well, and I think one thing we learned too is that you can't, I guess, put your halo on too tight, right? Like, you guys still enjoyed some beers here and there. I actually went the whole 6 weeks without drinking, which wasn't as hard for me as it might be for some other people, but I felt a huge difference. I still enjoyed fast food here and there because, again, you can't go too crazy. I've found in the past very unsustainable if you cut out everything and don't eat enough or eat way outside of what you normally would. But I also want to talk about the athlete here because not only did he put us through this for 6 weeks, which we can't say enough how much we appreciate it, but did a lot of the workouts with us. And you've been on, not that you really need it because you're in a lot better shape than us, but even through this too, you didn't take part in the challenge, but you kind of had your own goal to lose some weight as well.
Yeah, Christmas was a lot this year. I really indulged and just put on a few extra pounds that I didn't really want. So I've got a trip coming up down to a nice sunny place. So I kind of set that as my end goal. And I wanted to lose about 10 pounds and I'm pretty much there. So this whole thing really helped me. After the first couple weeks, once you guys got comfortable, I was able to just jump right in and join in on the workouts and kind of do my own fitness challenge on the side. But it's just nice having some people that are kind of doing the same thing as you and you're all trying to achieve the same goal.
From our side too, I think one of the things that made it a lot easier was having you around and having you prepping these workouts. Because I know if it was us three going into a gym, we could figure out the cardio, we could figure out that we'd need to do a little bit of a circuit here and there. But I think the thought and the actual process you went through and putting those 18 workouts together, we were a little sore off the hop, but you made it quite easy on our bodies to recover and you gave enough time in between legs, arms, cardio. So I think there's a lot of value to having a trainer put that stuff together for you because I think we would have we could have done it. We could have lost weight and everything, but the recovery and the actual active recovery that we could have been doing while we were working out was pretty neat to see as that whole 6 weeks went on.
We're all definitely feeling better, I think, physically, and we all look great. But I don't know, have you guys noticed? I always do every time I get in a really good rhythm for working out. But do you notice a change mentally at all as well?
Yeah, for me, like after the workout for the rest of the day, I'm feeling quite refreshed, quite re-energized. Still struggling in the mornings, but that's we'll get there. You basically have twice as much energy I find after a workout. So that might also have something to do with eating healthier. But when you can combine the two, it's great for your mental health as well.
I felt like my sleeping habits got a little better. Like I'd lay in bed for a couple hours playing on my phone. I found that with the workouts, at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then you go to work and you work the rest of the day and you get home with the kids, by 10 o'clock, it was just turn out the lights and go to bed. So I found that helped a lot. I think it's going to be important to at least maintain some sort of daily physical routine because like Ted said, I think whether I know it or not, I think I am happier and I think my body appreciates me a little more right now. But we'll see where it all goes. I think that trying to keep some sort of thing going with the five of us here at the training center would be beneficial, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Do you guys too, and Kevin, for you as well, just have, I guess, one piece of advice or the biggest thing you learned doing this challenge that for anyone, whether they want to lose 2 pounds or 100 pounds, whatever it is, just to kind of get active again and get healthy?
I think mine is pretty cliche. Stick to it. Like that first week and a half, for sure, me and Lund, it's been a long time since we've worked out, especially with weights, and not being able to lift our arms and maybe not being able to walk upstairs that first week and a half. I would have quit without the challenge. So just stick with it. Trust me, it does get easier as you roll through the 6 weeks. And I think one of the coolest parts and the most refreshing part of the whole challenge was the pictures you posted yesterday, or I guess a few days back, Ted, on social media, and seeing the actual results of us three of side, back, and front profile. It is absolutely crazy. I think you mentioned it earlier, you don't necessarily see that on yourself looking at yourself in the mirror every day. Maybe you're losing half an inch here, half an inch there, but the end result is pretty insane.
I'd agree with that from the fitness perspective, but from the healthy eating, the biggest thing for me was just always having convenient options in my fridge. That was huge for me. Like if I was meal planning ahead of time or meal prepping ahead of time, I knew I was able to eat healthy whenever I got hungry, because in the past I haven't done that, and then I would just rip to McDonald's or wherever, just something. Well, it's not really cheap anymore, but yeah, just having those quick meals ready to go. I've done some meal kits that helped out, and I also get to cook a bit more too. So I've got the free time to do that. But for people that don't, just set aside a meal planning day and then have your meals planned for the next 3 or 4 days or for the entire week. So That would be my main advice.
Yeah, my piece of advice that I usually try to tell people kind of builds off of both of those points, but it's just find something that's sustainable for you. Like this challenge was kind of different where it was only 6 weeks. So we kind of just threw you guys right into the fire. And like you said, the first week you could hardly walk up the stairs. But like for someone out there who wants to try something like this, like you don't have to go that hard right off the hop. Don't do something where you feel like it's so uncomfortable that you don't want to continue to do it. I would say start with exercises that you enjoy, walking instead of running. Like start light and build your way up as opposed to just going right into it, because that's where you're going to run into hurdles where it feels like it's too hard and you're kind of thinking, how can I keep this going for 6 or 8 weeks or however long? And then same thing on the food end. Like don't cut everything out of your diet. Just because you like pizza and it's not the best for you doesn't mean you don't have to like stop eating pizza. Just maybe eat pizza a little bit less. Like
Earn it.
Yeah, earn it, or slowly cut things out of your diet that might not be good for you, but do like pick one thing a week, right? Like don't do it all at the same time, because I find that's another way where you're just going to start hating your life right off the hop. And then that just is going to lead you back to your same habits.
And for me, I guess my other thing that I learned, even just recently looking at our before and after photos, is go easy on yourself too. I mean, don't compare yourself to other people. I got really bad for that. Even looking at like the before and after photos, I was like, oh man, I don't look like I made as big of a change from the front as Lund did or from the back as Dustin did. But I lost 21 pounds. Right. So I think too, if you're too hard on yourself, you can get discouraged. And, I weighed in once a week during the challenge. I didn't go on the scale every day because the scale can be good or bad, right? It can be encouraging or it can be really discouraging. So again, I'm feeling way more confident than I was even at the start of this challenge, right? And go through this. We encourage you just to start too. Get a group of friends too if it's easier. Like we've said already, that made it way easier on us. But get out, do something, do anything. And hey, the Bulldogs Training Center is here for you, right, Kevin? Like you do monthly memberships.
Yeah, exactly. So we do training programs. So for example, this would have been a group training program that we offer. We do individual training programs, but we also just have memberships. So if you wanted to just come in on your own time, we're open 6 days a week. So you can just pop in on your own time, get a workout in, and keep going from there.
Yeah, my last wrap-up point is this will be the best bronze medal I ever win. Thanks, boys, for the challenge. And my last piece of advice goes to you too, and it's update those dating profile pictures, because you two are looking sharp and you won't be on that market for very much longer.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And I guess we didn't really say, but congratulations, Lund, too, on the big win. Not only did none of us get punished, but you also win $200. I think Dustin will agree that is the best $100 I've ever lost, because I lost 20 pounds along with it. So congratulations, and enjoy being the champ.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll probably spend it on you guys for lunch. But for anyone that hasn't checked out the Bulldogs gym, it's an awesome gym with lots of machinery and lots of space. So you can come with friends or come by yourself. Just get started.
And in Red Deer, not Black Falls.
Yeah, so it's on 68th Street, 1 block north of the Save-On.
Yep, nailed it.
All right, well, we'll hope to see you there. And I guess to end off, we do have to say one more time to Kevin, thank you so much for this. It might sound a little dramatic, but this was honestly a life-changing experience, I think, for all of us at this point in life. And we learned a lot from you. You were very motivating, and we just appreciate you opening up the gym to us and taking the time to run us through all these workouts.
I appreciate having you guys here. It was honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect at the beginning of 6 weeks and having to put together 18 different workouts and whatnot, but it actually was just like the perfect way to kind of break up my day. And 3 days a week, I got to see you guys. I think we had 1 week where every day of the week there was somebody in here. So no, it was just a nice way. Basically, I had my friends come and visit me at work. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, Ted, back to you in the studio. All right. Well, thanks, Ted. Lundy, again, congratulations.
Hey,
Trust me, it makes sense.
Hey, looking good, Ryan.
But Andrew and Walsh, you're both already healthy, active guys, so it didn't really make sense for you to be part of the challenge. But hopefully, even as spectators, talking with us, seeing us, all the social media stuff, hopefully it was still something you enjoyed following along with. And I don't know if we're inspiring or not, but I'm hoping maybe for a couple people we were.
I think you guys are inspiring. Absolutely. I think you guys all looked incredible. You still look incredible. We all play hockey together. I mean, Lund and Dustin were flying up and down the ice the other night. And the biggest thing I'm happy about is we saw each other just the other day, and the challenge has been over for over a week. And you had said that you guys were at the gym that day. And so I was really happy to hear that.
But not Dustin.
And we pointed that out, but that's
let's throw
okay.
him under the bus right now. Dustin sucks.
But that was awesome to hear that you guys are still going with it, because that's the big thing is, yeah, it's great to do it for 6 weeks, but do it for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then think about
obviously that's the goal, is to carry on. And because if you just do it for 6 weeks and then don't do anything after, it's kind of like a waste.
Yeah.
Andrew, what about you? I know, like, again, I don't know how recently, but you've like lost weight. Now you're trying to put on weight. So you're kind of going through the same stuff. Did London inspire you at all?
Every day. I have a poster of him in my bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, cut that out. That came out so wrong. Wow. Good job,
I'd
me.
like
By
to see
bathroom,
this
you mean
poster.
gym.
Yeah, let's go with Jim.
You know I'm gonna get you a
Oh, that
poster
was
now.
sad.
I'm gonna come over and hang it up in your bathroom.
I don't know. I didn't take that the wrong way. I just took it as you have a poster of Lund. I think it's great.
I took it the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's such a visible difference in you guys. Again, I'm with Walsh here. Like, I hope you guys keep it up. You look way healthier. Everything looks better. You guys seem. I mean, did you hear Lund at the start of this episode? Like, that's the most energetic Lund's ever been ever.
Yeah.
London hockey last night, like, he got to a puck and whiffed on a one-timer really bad and fell over. But I'm like, he wouldn't even, old Lund wouldn't have even got to the puck, right? Like, he wouldn't even got there.
Yeah.
Although yesterday he stopped right beside me and I ran him over, and I was like, wow, that was really easy to knock him over. But that just goes to show you, right? He's lost so much weight that I just pushed him over like nothing. So
there's compliments hidden in there.
Absolutely.
What a compliment sandwich. Oh God.
But not with bread, because it's empty calories.
That's right. No, I think it's great. I'm glad you guys did it. I hope you all stick to it and keep up with it. So,
well, we're still looking for tips and advice. So if anyone out there has any, feel free to share it. But yeah, I think me and Teddy are both going to try and keep eating healthier and keep hitting up the gym. So hopefully our tune doesn't change over the next 3 or 6 months, but that would be the goal, to keep this up, keep it ongoing.
And we'll move on because we've talked about that enough, I think. Something else coming up that we should talk about is a big landmark for one of our bigger partners too, the Red Deer and District Chamber of Commerce. The chamber turns 130 years old this year. I didn't even think that Red Deer as a city was that old. I still just think it's a cool thing to talk about and congratulate them on their 130th year as a Chamber of Commerce. And Walsh, you're on the board now, so obviously like you haven't been on the board for 130 years, and I don't think anyone there has, but still pretty huge.
I mean, just think about the number 130 years. Like, it's incredible.
That's almost 131 years.
Almost. Yeah. But it's just, I think it's a testament to the organization that it's been around that long. And, we have a pretty vibrant and successful business community in Central Alberta. Can it always be better? Absolutely. But I think that the chamber's looking at ways to innovate and bring value to the members and ultimately make Red Deer and Central Alberta a better place to be. So,
and while we're talking about the chamber, our first business feature is now out. You can find that on our YouTube page and a social media page as well. As mentioned in the last episode, I sat down with Alyssa and Dane Johnson, who own Johnson Spring and Trailer, and a really great interview, a great way to kick off these Red Deer Chamber business features that we're doing. Riley and Fish did a great job putting it all together. So make sure you go check it out and keep an eye out for the next one, as we will be putting them out monthly. And the other big project that the Red Deer and District Chamber of Commerce are backing us on, Lund Employed, is finally off and running. Lundy, at the time of recording, we haven't yet done the first episode of Lund Employed, but it is set. We have you officially scheduled in for a shift at Alberta Asian Motor Works, just like we talked about with Mike Passman a few episodes ago. And it sounds like you'll be changing the oil in Walsh's car too. So I don't know who should be more nervous about that, to be honest.
I'm not nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous, but I know Mike's got my back, so I'm good.
Mike told me he wasn't going to supervise me. I'm just going to bring to the table what I bring to the table. Like, I've seen how oil changes happen, and I've heard about them. So I think I got the gist. Like, it's not that hard to change an oil. Like, that's just one job I'm going to be doing there. I'm going to be whipping that place into shape. I mean, I'm sure they have a tight operation, but there's always room for improvement, and I'm gonna show them where that improvement's gonna come from. So I'm pumped.
I can't wait for the innovative ideas you're gonna bring forward
for an oil change. What if we use canola oil?
Yeah.
That's cheaper.
Have you thought about using extra virgin?
Okay, now I'm a little more nervous.
Anyways, Lund, we wish you the best of luck. Took a while for us to get the ball rolling on Lund Employed, but keep an eye out for that one later in March. And hey, if you're listening to this in April or later, then it's probably already out. So lucky for you. Go watch it.
Lund, I didn't know you were actually doing this. I just thought it was a funny joke, but I would challenge you to come work for me for a day.
Whoa! Okay.
I'm firing you for sure, but come for a day. It'll be fun.
Give me an honest shake. Give me a true trial run. But yeah, I'll come work for a day.
You can be my personal assistant.
Yeah, I'll do whatever needs to get done.
To sell a house.
Yeah, I can probably sell a house.
Lund could sell the shit out of a house.
Yeah, hire me, man. Hire me.
Okay, well then there we go. We've got the list is growing for that, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And last item of business for Shooting the Breeze, to throw out one more reminder to get your tickets for Wannabe, a Spice Girls tribute at Bo's Bar and Stage on April 25th. I know we're really hyping this night up a lot, but hey, if Ryan Lund says it'll live up to the hype, then you know it'll probably live up to the hype.
And it fucking will.
Don't lose that confidence. Now, this isn't confirmed yet, but since doors open at 6 that night, I'm working really hard to convince the fine people at Bo's to screen the Spice Girls movie from like 6:30 to 8 o'clock or whatever it is before the music starts, because I think that's a great way to start the night. Go in, have some dinner, have a couple drinks, and watch the Spice Girls movie. So stay tuned to find out if that happens or not. But no one else knows this yet. I just confirmed this today. So everyone in this room, first to know, we have an interview lined up with the ladies of Wannabe, which is going to be a lot of fun. So keep an eye out for that. In late March, early April, we're recording the interview, hopefully next week. So that'll be pretty neat, again, to kind of learn more about the group and hype up the show even more.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Like, when did you confirm this?
Today. Message them. So I will give a shout out too, because they've actually been, once they started following us on Instagram, they share our stuff, they like our stuff too. So I just messaged them and asked if they wanted to do an interview, and it was an instant yes. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, and maybe we'll do some obviously have to do some Spice Girls trivia with them and see if I can beat them.
Yeah, do you think you know more, or do they know more? I think it's gonna be close.
It'll be close. I think they'll know more.
Like, they probably just look and sound like the Spice Girls. How much do they actually know?
No, you would have to know quite, and it'd be like I would like to do like a lyric challenge. I think that would be
you
fun.
would get demolished in a lyric
I
challenge.
don't
They would know the lyrics. You would have to know, like, hey, what's Scary Spice's cat's name?
Oh, no, we're not doing that.
Or
no, that's entertaining for exactly 0 people.
Yeah, her name's Boo, by the way.
Did you say Boo or Boo?
Either one worked. But I said Boo. We'll find out what her cat's name is. We'll get to the bottom of this.
You do know it's not the real Scary Spice, right?
Wow, I'm not sure. We'll ask her that too.
All right. Well, after a couple episodes of bringing our own beer, I just want to say a quick cheers to Red Heart Brewery, providing the beer for us to drink tonight. And because there's only there's 4 of us here, we get to drink a lot more. That's a good hold, Lund. I think you got it. I think you got it. Yeah, have a sip. You earned it. But no, Lund and I and coworker Aaron went for a pint there earlier today too, and met with Jared. Great guy. I think we've all been to Red Heart, so it's a very cool place. And yeah, we just really appreciate having some beer to drink tonight. And hint, hint. Hopefully, we can do this again.
Jared.
All right, now this is the part where we normally look over to the couch for our monthly hit of real estate news and advice. But hey, we don't have to do that tonight. And I bet no one's more excited than Walsh. He doesn't have to turn around or talk to Andrew while he's facing the other way. So we're in March now, getting into springtime, which I assume is going to be the busier time for people buying and selling. What's, I guess, if you can give like 2 or 3 of the most important tips to people, so I guess this is just the tips now, to get their house ready to sell.
Biggest one, Clean and declutter beyond what you would normally do. Most people, don't wipe their baseboards more than once a year and don't get their carpets cleaned more than every couple of years. And maintenance is so huge. So cleaning, maintenance, and then decluttering, just, stuff piles up. You live in a house for long enough, 10 years, you have kids, all that kind of stuff. You just accumulate and accumulate. The decluttering makes your house show better. It's also going to make it way easier for you to move because you're just going to have half as much stuff. So that I would say is probably the biggest thing. Another one that's really easy, paint. Granted, it's starting to get expensive now with labor to paint your whole house. But if you got any wild colors, getting rid of the wild colors makes a big difference. If your walls are dented and dinged and beat up and scratched up from pets and kids and all that other stuff, patch the walls, fix the walls. Nothing will make your house look more kind of worn and beat than really bad kind of trim and walls. It's an easy fix. And the other one I would say is staging, because the way you live and the way you show are not the same thing. And it's an inconvenient process, but your house is going to look great. It will, I guarantee it, get more money in your pocket when your house is staged versus unstaged. Nothing turns a buyer away more than walking into a house that, there's stuff everywhere. There's groceries on the counter. There's dishes in the sink. You walk into a house that looks like a show home, people will pay more for it every single time. And it's an absolute no-brainer.
So Andrew, when you say staged, is that something they have to do themselves, or do you guys provide like a professional stager? Or like, can they rely on your team to give them advice on how to best stage their house?
Yeah, so we have a stager that's included as part of our service, and she basically will come in, and we don't, in Ontario, some places they will literally like strip your entire house empty, take all your stuff out and bring in new stuff. We don't take it to that level. We don't need to. We've had a lot of success with our stager who will come in and work with your furniture. She does have decor and pictures and that kind of thing that she'll use to kind of spruce the house up. But her biggest job is coming in and just helping you see the things that you're kind of numb to, that have been in your house for so long that you don't really pay attention to them anymore.
Yeah.
So staging is literally setting the stage for a buyer when they walk in the house. So it's more than just the clutter and everything. It's having all the lights on. It's having nice music playing. It's making sure the house smells good. It's making sure all your blinds are open so that there's lots of natural light coming in. There's numerous kind of elements to it, but it's about kind of appealing to a buyer's emotional side, because people, when they're buying residential real estate, they buy emotionally. You really want to hit that with them. I've had numerous buyers walk into properties without even seeing the whole house, and they go, "This is my house. I feel it." Yeah. So it's about getting that emotional side of the buyers and really kind of making them feel like this could be my house.
So you've helped me and my wife buy and sell our houses. And our last one that we bought, I really remember you pointing out like the pictures on the realtor website. They had a movie playing on the TV, and then they took a picture of like the theater room, but it was like a picture of a movie on the TV. And I just remember you shaking your head like, this is ridiculous. You've looked at thousands of listings. Like, what's one of the weirdest things you've ever seen?
It's actually against board rules now, but back in the day, it used to be a thing where, you'd be looking at a photo and you'd see in the corner, like you'd see a head of like a person, and it was the seller. The seller of the house was in every photo.
Seeing like a selfie?
Around, hiding somewhere in the room, thinking they weren't getting picked up, right? They're literally like poking their head out of a corner in every photo that you go to look at. I've seen tons of stuff. Like we've mirrors on the ceiling. That was another one. Posted the listing like right above the master bed. Mirrors on the ceiling. Stripper poles. Hooks in the ceiling from what I assume are sex swings. Like the amount of stuff that people don't hide.
Pinatas, you don't know. You need
pinatas above the bed.
Yeah. Some people have no shame with that stuff. They're like, yep, just throw it out there and it is what it is. But I wouldn't recommend that. But
some people pay extra if they know the hooks are already there.
Yeah, I guess.
Real estate is sex positive now, right? So yeah, that's some good stuff for I guess a little bit of an unplanned. Are we calling that just the tips now? I guess. Andrew, do you want to do your own ad read for this, or would you like one of us to do it? I think you need the practice.
Oh, my ad reads are terrible. So you know what? I've botched every other ad read, so I apologize to all the sponsors. So I might as well botch my own too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. I bet you he's gonna ace it.
Get it.
Just the Tips was brought to you by Andrew Russell and Associates at Remax Real Estate, the trusted experts for all things real estate in Central Alberta. Skip the sales pitch. Just talk to me. That's Just talk to me. Go to my website, www.andrewrussell.ca.
Off script, yeah. I mean, yeah. Did I write? No, that's not what I wrote.
I like that. I like it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's just keep things rolling. Andrew, you're going to have to do another ad read right away as we head in to Deer Call. That was like a bad sound effect of cars driving
I thought he was going to eat the microphone.
I didn't even know what I was going to do.
Sorry, Riley. Sorry about this. Deer Call is brought to you by Cilantro and Chive, home of Caesars that eat like a meal. Stop in at either location in Red Deer or Lacombe for the burger of the month and support a great cause. With $2 from every burger sold going back to the local guest chef's charity of choice. Cilantro and Chive, your favorite new destination to meet with family and friends for food, drink, conversation, and fun. It's just that simple.
Yeah, that was serviceable. And now you're done. Now you're done the ad
It's not my
read.
forte.
Yeah, we might have to start scheduling this around Aaron. Anyways, really quick. Last episode, we chatted a bit about the dome dining that Cilantro and Chive offers, and then none of us had actually tried it before, so we couldn't really speak to it, which was kind of dumb to bring it up then. But Lundy, we had your victory lunch there the other day. We checked it out, and it's a pretty cool way to get a jump start on patio season. And like in Alberta, you're probably, mid-April. You can still use those. So make sure you go check that out at Cilantro and Chive. And let's get into it now. This time we asked a pretty vague question on purpose because I wanted answers that would take us all over the place, and our listeners delivered on that one. We asked you for your most controversial or unpopular opinion, but also hoping to keep it light and fun as much as possible. We got a whole bunch of answers, which means a whole lot of people entered to win one of two $25 gift cards to Cilantro and Chive. Our first winner was Brittany, who said she has no desire to visit Paris, which I don't know. I think I'm in the same boat. It's just a place, and I heard most of Paris is just kind of smelly and dirty.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've been to Paris.
Oh.
Parts of it were smelly and dirty. The Eiffel Tower was sick.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, it's tall. It's very tall.
But you're saying like Paris is just like you. Some parts are smelly and dirty, and some parts are fine.
No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I have no desire to go back to Paris. So I think I would agree with Brittany's take.
Our other winner, Sierra, said that Jared Leto has a punchable face and he is the worst.
I think as a human being, yeah, but I like his band, 30 Seconds to Mars. I like their music.
He's a good actor. I've never thought about him having a punchable face, but I see it, especially when he was the Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he just wears a lot of makeup, and it's just not my vibe.
There's a lot of people actually went after celebrities here. It's kind of weird. Doug said Michael Bublé is an overrated karaoke singer.
I mean, I feel like that's uncalled for. Guy's got a pretty awesome voice, I'd say.
Karaoke's tough. Like I've sung a lot of bad karaoke songs, listened to a lot. And when you hear someone good singing, you're like, wow, that's impressive. So it's not a terrible insult, but I do think he is a little bit overrated too.
Did you guys see him at the NHL All-Star game after taking mushrooms?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's really
taking mushrooms.
No, I'm pretty sure he admitted to it.
No, I know.
On stage.
He did.
That was actually
high as a kite. Yeah,
that was actually pretty funny.
I think he gained a lot of fans. From
we should get him on the pod.
And we'll stick again with the singers, I guess. This one, there's a lot to dissect here, but Brittany said Taylor Swift is a terrible singer. Now, I would disagree. I would say that she does not have the strongest voice, but to be a terrible singer, I don't know. You can't really say anyone who's that successful is a terrible singer. You can not like her. I'm getting fired up here. I think I'm bringing something else to this, but at least that's better than saying people who just say she's not talented, which drives me nuts. Okay, you don't have to like Taylor Swift, but I'm sorry, Brittany, but your opinion was terrible.
I feel like to get to that level, you have to have a good PR team, and obviously she does. But you also have to have a lot of talent. Like, I couldn't have a good PR team around me and get to that. You know what I mean? You can't suck and get to that level. So she's got talent.
Yeah.
So I disagree with that take.
No, terrible singer, no. Great singer, also no.
Yeah, I think for her, it's just like the whole package almost of she's a very good singer.
Very good looking girl too.
And she creates her own music, and I think she does a lot of good in the world. So
I wouldn't pay $5,000 to see her.
No.
I don't even think I'd pay $100 to see her, to be honest. I have no interest, but
I think I'd pay up to like 2 or 3, I think. 100.
I agree. You can't say she's a terrible singer. She's fine. She's got some good songs. I don't get the hype personally. I think that's kind of way overblown, but
that's her PR team. The hype is her PR team for sure.
Yeah. But how about this one? I don't know if you guys have even heard this, but Kim said the new Beyonce country song, which is like breaking records and stuff. Kim says it's just okay, and I agree.
I agree with that too.
I don't think I've heard it. I don't know.
It's good, but it's yeah.
I believe that she's coming out with a whole country album, so I'm a little more interested to hear some more songs, because I thought some of that song was like, her voice is pretty good, and I think she can carry the country tune and all that kind of stuff, but I just wasn't in love with the song.
It was just your typical kind of country song, I think. Cookie cutter. I don't know, have you heard it yet?
Yeah, I've heard part of it.
Yeah. It's all over like TikTok and stuff too. It's being used a lot, so that obviously helps the popularity.
She's a really good singer. She's very talented. I don't really care for her music, but that's just me. I don't deny that. Yeah, she's got a great voice. But
do you guys think she's going into country music as like a slap in the face to Taylor? Because Taylor started in country and then she came over to pop and whatever she's doing now, and Beyonce started in like R&B and then I guess now is going into country.
I don't think it's a slap in the face, like
maybe
a
not a slap,
thing, but I think it's a calculated move.
Yeah, calculated. They're obviously like the two top female artists right now, and Taylor's right now winning. Obviously she's getting more publicity, so maybe Beyonce is trying to steal some of that country folk.
Gun to your head, who do you like better?
Taylor.
I would go with Taylor all day, but
Beyonce only because it makes me think of the Single Ladies video on SNL when Andy Samberg and Justin Timberlake went in the video. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, we might do that, by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah. I knew you'd be in. Yeah.
And I'm going to go off the board and say Destiny's Child.
Kelly Rowland?
Kelly, yeah.
This is why we need Aaron here, because I don't even know who this is really. But Carly said, I like Tom Sandoval. He's not a bad guy, just did a bad thing. I know he's on that show Vanderpump Rules, because I cruise like TMZ every morning as part of the show, and there's some big cheating scandal going on.
God, so
and
big.
he looks like dollar store Dave Navarro.
Yeah,
and Dave Navarro looks like dollar store Dave Navarro, so you can imagine. But I guess I don't know. I don't really know much about him, but according to Carly, he's not a bad guy, just a cheater.
Yeah, and he's got a greasy mustache too.
He does. Yeah, I know that. So you kind of
I've seen some episodes, and I've like it's been on for like 10 seasons, and I watched a few of the season 10 episodes, so I know the gist of it. And he's a douche. Yeah, he is a very unlikable character, and he's just reveling in like all the attention he's getting.
They do have an unpopular opinion on this then, in your mind.
I guess when you're unemployed, you got to watch your stories, right?
No, I was watching this while I had a job. This is old. This is old.
I do know like a lot of people, I've never watched an episode of it, but people love it. So
pretty drama,
pretty popular,
right?
Yeah,
I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is staged, but it's drama.
Yeah. Moving on, now we're into like the food category of this. Laura said her unpopular opinion is that soggy cereal is delicious. It's fine. It depends on the cereal too. I could see her pissing some friends off with that opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get on board the soggy cereal, but then I'm being a hypocrite because at the end you drink the milk and it's the best part. So is that kind of like the soggy cereal? I don't know.
No, it's just drinking milk.
Oh, but the soggy cereal was in there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, just the texture. It just feels wrong. Like it feels like
it's soggy.
It's gross. Like I can't come up with the words. It feels so wrong.
So Laura got you. She triggered you on this because you actually look like a little ill right now.
I hope Laura just gets hit by a car or something. Like she should not be eating soggy cereal.
Do you want to retract that? Because I'll probably keep that in. So.
Yeah, if she's eating soggy cereal,
Lunch fan base is just growing.
The punishment fits the crime. I feel like,
it's through a straw with her broken jaw from the car accident.
Enjoy your soggy cereal, Laura.
Oh, this got dark. All right,
we're getting canceled.
Yeah. Hey, but what a way to go. Defending cereal. Heidi said pickles are disgusting, but somehow still likes the dill pickle poutine at Cilantro.
Yeah, no, pickles are amazing. I could not disagree with more.
One has 4 jars of pickles, like working jars of pickles in the fridge at any given time.
To be fair, pickles last a very long time, and when you're at the grocery store, there's always 2-for-1 deals there. So I wait till they go on sale 2-for-1 and then get 2 at a time.
Which is fine, but then you open them and put them in the fridge next to the almost full other open jars.
That's fine. They last for a long time. The pickle juice protects them. Like I don't know what the expiry day is, but it's a long ways out.
I don't know what you hope happens to Heidi if she thinks pickles are disgusting.
Okay, I take back what I said about Laura. I hope Heidi gets hit by a car.
I'm on Team Heidi. Don't like pickles.
Oh.
This is a weird one. It's not unpopular. I think it's weird that Rachel thinks this is unpopular. All condiments belong in the fridge except butter. What condiment wouldn't you put in the fridge? after you open it? Like none. Like if you're keeping your ketchup or mayonnaise or whatever not in the fridge, that's ugh.
Okay, here's a question. What do you do with your peanut butter?
Peanut butter I put in the pantry.
Natural or like the craft?
Craft.
Because that goes in the pantry.
Yeah.
Natural goes in the
Natural's
fridge.
because there's no preservatives. Yeah. Well, here's a great segue because Jen said peanut butter is the worst. That is a dog shit opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot more worse things out there than peanut butter, like Nazis.
Okay.
I mean, come on, Jen. The worst? But what if she's deathly allergic?
Sorry, Jen, but that is a terrible opinion. So is this one, Ashley, and Ashley's like one of our biggest fans, I think, but she said cheese ruins meals.
No.
Now, Andrew would agree with that, but not because he like wants to.
Yeah, no, my inability to eat cheese is not by choice.
Yeah, you still enjoy cheese.
Sometimes
cheese,
cheese is the meal, or could be. Natasha, now this is going to be very controversial, said people who say they enjoy camping are lying to themselves because at the end of the day, camping is not enjoyable. If Dustin was here, he'd argue because he's a big camper. I think that's just an eye of the beholder type of thing.
I do too, but at the same time, if the weather is really shitty and if you're in a tent and you're just like, you're trying to like talk yourself into it, like, oh, well, I had a great time that weekend or it was so much fun, but like in honesty, you just got soaked the whole time and you don't want to admit that you wasted a weekend being miserable. So I get where they're coming from with that one.
I think too, the amount Dustin camps, sometimes I think you're just like forcing yourself to like camping.
Well, when you buy like a trailer, but spend a lot of money, you kind of do have to force yourself to like it or to do it often. Like you're not gonna spend 50 grand and then say, oh, this sucks. I mean, I guess you could, but sound like a loser. That one's at you, Dustin.
I think camping's great. It's just a lot of work. And tent camping, no, hard no. Trailer camping is great.
Did you have or had a pretty big trailer?
We had a really nice trailer. And then as soon as we had kids, it just became too much work and too much stuff and too much. It was a day to pack and a day to clean. But when it was just my wife and I, we'd pull out into like the middle of the bush somewhere and just chill for the weekend with the dogs. And it was amazing.
If you pulled out in the bush, you wouldn't have 3 kids.
Is that what I did wrong?
This is, I know my co-host will disagree, and I think I do too. Erica said Ted has the best puns.
I enjoy Monday Punday, personally.
Yeah, me too.
I can't argue with that. I mean, you do obviously the most puns.
The most,
Wow.
Quantity over quality sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. All right, well.
You're trying hard.
Yeah,
no, I wasn't fishing for compliment there. I actually thought we would all disagree with Erica, but... all right, and last couple here are a little more, or not a little more, they are TV and movies. Amy said South Park is not a good show.
I disagree.
And I hard disagree. Even if you don't like it, it is one of the most brilliant shows. Like
the first couple seasons of South Park are gold. Absolute gold.
Most of those seasons are probably not allowed on normal TV anymore.
I don't think, I mean, it's amazing they were allowed on normal TV at all back then. But I remember I was in grade 5 when South Park came out. And I remember staying up until midnight and sneaking down to the TV just to watch it. And I probably didn't get half the jokes, but they're still hilarious to this day.
Yeah, I mean, the animation sucks.
And the last one here, this could go either way with people. Aaron basically said, I don't like Star Wars. Don't know why anyone would waste their time watching it.
That's obviously like she's trying to trigger us.
But I think a lot of people think it's like half and half.
You just either get it or you don't get it, I feel like.
I would agree with her. I've tried to watch the movies. I just can't really get into them. And I think for a lot of us that are younger than when they first came out, because I understand when they came out, it was like a big deal. But we kind of missed that. So yeah, I just never really had interest in them.
I feel like every trilogy they do is just like even though it's not like a remake, they're just like copying the first 3 movies over and over again. Like it's nothing.
Well, they're
really
in the same
new.
franchise, so they have to keep the same general theme.
Yeah, but I feel like they're copying them with like just new characters. I feel like it's lazy writing.
I watched these finally during COVID. I'd never seen them before, and I think it was, I want to say Return of the Jedi, the one that's got the Ewoks in it. Mm-hmm. Horrible movie. It was so bad I couldn't finish it. It's terrible. I don't get the hype.
Okay, so you're on Team Aaron. Yeah. That's it for our I guess our listeners. But for mine, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but I think The Office is is just okay.
Yeah,
It's not even top 10 TV show for me.
I think it's number one for me, so I completely disagree with you.
That's why it's an unpopular opinion.
No, a lot of people think it's number one.
Yeah, I would agree that you have an unpopular opinion. Yep.
Like it's like especially when it came out, it was like pretty much the first what do they call it? Like a mockumentary. The first like that style, and then a lot of shows like Parks and Rec and a lot of other shows have tried to copy that style. But for anyone that's worked in an office, I found it very relatable because all the different characters, like, oh my god, that Dwight character is just like this person in my office, or Stanley is just like this person. So I could really relate to it.
Well, I shouldn't say it's so because it is a good show. I'm just gonna say it's not top 10 for me, and I do think it's a little overhyped. And I think Michael Scott was a very, very, very forced character. Too much forced humor.
No, see that he did such a good job of the cringe humor.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's
it made you very, very uncomfortable. Yeah, I really enjoy that stuff.
Yep, good show.
So I've got an opinion.
I bet you have lots of opinions.
No, just one. My opinion is vegetables are pointless. Like, I was going to say overrated, but I'm going to go a step further. Like, pointless. You can get anything you need from a vegetable in like pill form now, or just from eating other stuff. Like, and they don't even taste good either. So it's not like, what's the point? Pointless.
I can't wait till you get scurvy.
Haven't got it yet.
I'm not even touching that one.
I'm just don't want to upset the vegetable
fans. No, we could just go down a rabbit hole with that. Yeah. But you know what? I respect.
Yeah, it's an unpopular. I get it. I'm in the minority, but
you and Al Michaels though never had a vegetable.
I mean, he's not. I'm not happy he's on my side, but
no.
I guess I'm not alone. I still eat vegetables. I'm not like anti-vegetable. I'm not going out of my way to add a vegetable to a meal if it doesn't require it.
My kids would very much agree with your opinion,
Your
Lund.
kids are very smart.
They do not like vegetables.
Yeah.
My wife's very good at forcing them to eat them. You cannot get the same nutrients out of a pill because as soon as you process that stuff, it all goes to hell. And hey, I don't love vegetables either, but they're definitely not pointless. Eat them.
Like I said, a lot of answers there and couldn't even get to all of them, but thank you, as always, to everyone who answered this deer call. And also, as always, keep an eye out on social media to answer the next deer call for your chance to win a $25 gift card to Cilantro and Chive. Now, as we get close to wrapping up, we're going to bring Vincent back here, and he's gonna run us through a bit of a music-based game. And I know it's going to be you three, Lund, Walsh, and Andrew against me. We're each going to kind of do the quiz, so I'm going to leave the room. But I think I'm going to be very humbled here as someone now who works in radio. And let's bring Vincent up here and get this game going. All right, so we have Vincent here with us now. Vincent, you're going to run us through a bit of a game. First off, just explain what it is.
Okay, for us in the record store business, we're all part of a community. It's something that other record stores do. So when they're interviewing, it's a rapid fire of the title of albums, and you have to tell us the artist. And it's a little bit different because that's not your typical music trivia. But in a record store, that's really important because people come in and they're like, hey, I'm looking for a Fleetwood Mac album. And you're like, well, which one? And you want to be able to rattle them off, and you want to know that more than anything else. We've done it with a bunch of our customers too. And like, there's 100 on here. We can do them really fast. If you don't have an answer right away, I'm just moving on to the next one. And like some of our best customers that know music really well, our highest score by an individual is 58 out of 100. Oh. Given Ted's, livelihood and everything, it looks like we're going to pit Ted against the rest of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically me against Walsh and Andrew because if Lund gets 3, I'll be very shocked.
Yeah, I would also agree, but let's make it interesting, Ted.
Yeah, I think we kind of already wanted to do a bet, Lund, where the loser has to dye their hair.
I'll agree to that.
Okay, and Walsh and Andrew, you're just helping Lund.
They're on my team.
Yeah.
Because I am not very good at this type of stuff, but how many do you think you can get?
I'm hoping at least 15. 15
you'll get
20.
15.
We can get 23.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to...
All right.
Let's hop right to it. Lund's going to take my seat. I'm going to go in the other room, throw on the headphones, whatever, not listen, and someone just come get me when you guys are done, and good luck.
Ted has left the room.
So again, I am giving you the album title, and you just have to tell me the artist. All right?
Here we go.
Coda.
Garth Brooks.
Brother in Arms.
Steely Dan.
Pleasure and Pain.
Metallica.
In the Heat of the Night. Make It Big.
Mr. Big.
Songs from the Big Chair.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Rio.
Grand.
Please.
Madonna.
Substance.
Abuse.
I had too much faith in you guys. All right. Hotel California.
Eagles.
Let's go. That's gotta be right. Tell
Yes,
us.
sorry, correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Ghost in the Machine. Get Lucky.
Madonna.
Eliminator.
Terminator.
Tango in the Night.
Beach Boys.
Ooh, that's a good guess.
Bat Out of Hell.
Meatloaf.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Rubber Soul. Oh, come on, guys.
Meatloaf.
Agents of Fortune.
Oh, I've heard this.
Parallel Lines.
Rush.
Let There Be Rock.
AC/DC.
Correct.
Yes.
Power Slave.
Power Rangers.
Technical Ecstasy.
MGMT.
Peace Sells, but Who's Buying?
That's pretty cool. That's a cool name.
Wish You Were Here.
Pink Floyd.
Correct.
Yes.
Diary of a Madman.
Oh.
Iron Fist.
Iron Maiden.
No.
Oh.
Last Waltz. Slow Hand.
Foghat.
No. Belladonna. Invisible Touch.
Michael Jackson.
Dreamboat Annie. Glass Houses. Yellow Brick Road.
The Beatles.
Dorothy.
Come on.
Oh, shit.
Dorothy.
I was going to say Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
But
I got them old cosmic blues again, mama.
Well, there's a couple of these I'm going to regret.
Steely
later.
Dan.
Harvest. Gonna revoke your Canadian card.
Oh.
Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
No.
No. Shit.
Joe's Garage.
Joe Walsh.
No.
It's just Joe.
Kind of Blue.
I'm blue, ba-da-dee, la-da-die, ba-da-dee.
At Last.
Nickelback.
A Love Supreme.
The Supremes.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Time Out.
Green Day.
Off the Wall.
Offspring.
She's So Unusual.
Oh, I think I've heard this.
Bon Jovi.
True Blue.
Blue, I would die. I
Destroyer.
Metallica.
That sounds like an Iron Maiden.
We'll go with Iron Maiden. No.
Kilroy Was Here.
Kill Switch.
Six.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Voulez-vous.
Moulin Rouge. What's that Moulin Rouge band? All the sexy ladies.
Goat's Head Soup.
Green Day.
Goes to Hell.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Goes to Hell.
Meatloaf.
Graceland.
Elvis Presley.
Blue. Again. Gonna revoke your Canadian card.
I would die. Yeah, blue.
Moondance.
It's gotta be Michael Jackson.
Stealing Fire.
Garth Brooks.
T for the Tillerman.
Noah.
Sundown.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yes. Thank God you got one Canadian. The Joker.
Steve Miller Band.
Yes.
I did not know.
Hair of the Dog. Scream Dream. Mystery Girl.
Madonna.
Wildflowers.
Tom Petty.
Yes. Synchronicity. Around the World in a Day. Presto. The Game.
The Game.
Aqualung.
Jethro Tull.
Yes. Always on My Mind.
The Beatles.
Country Section.
REO Speedwagon.
No. Roll On.
Brooks and Dunn.
Sweet Revenge. Black Moses. Uprising.
Rise Against the Machine.
Are these old?
Yeah.
Okay, that's too. All right.
The Harder They Come.
Ryan Lund.
Mama Africa. Theater of Pain.
Dream Theater.
1984.
Taylor Swift.
No.
Johnny the Fox.
Johnny Cash.
Knock 'em Dead Kid.
Tupac.
Joshua Tree.
Oasis. No. U2.
Yes.
Nice.
Darkness on the Edge of Town. You guys better get this one. Can't Buy a Thrill. Come on, you've said it so many times.
Oh,
It's been your guess.
Madonna.
No.
Blue. I'm blue. Oh, what else have I said?
Country Life.
Garth.
Abraxas.
That's just a made up word.
Don't Fight It. Leftoverture. Escape. Easter.
Jesus.
Never mind the Bullocks.
It's an English band. It's
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
London Calling.
Oh, I actually have heard this.
I don't think you guys have gotten one. yet,
Beatles?
have you? Like, I think I've gotten all of
I
these.
think I maybe got one.
we're a team, man.
Rocket to Russia.
Putin.
Husker. I'm giving the answer. Zen Arcade.
Huskers.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Ooh, I know this one.
Celine Dion.
Cosmo Factory.
Neil Diamond.
Machine Head.
Oh, that's Bush.
Deja Vu.
Madonna?
Fistful of Metal. Toys in the Attic.
Rage Against the Machine.
Hounds of Love.
Bloodhound Gang.
British Steel.
ICP.
Love at First Sting.
Oh, Beyonce.
No.
Is it Beehive?
The Magician's The Magician's Birthday.
Let's get Shazam going here. David Blaine.
Sound of Silence.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yes.
Good job, guys.
Business as usual. All right. And what was your total?
9.
12.
11.
11. That's pretty
All
good.
by me.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Can't buy a thrill is Steely Dan. How many times did you say Steely
I only
Dan?
think I said it once. I think I only said it once.
There's a bunch of those that I had inklings of, but problem is like, so I listen to a lot of Spotify and you don't get album names. If you were telling song names, I'd probably name a ton of them, but
And that's why this is so difficult.
Oh, it is.
And it's
It's
a
tough.
weird thing because I actually forgot to give this to my current employee when I first hired him. So I quickly did it with him today and he got 81 of these.
wow.
And so, obliterated the high score and everything else like that. But it's very apparent after working in a record store for so long how this just becomes second nature
Yeah.
and why it's such a good quiz for somebody. But the interesting part is going to see Ted, who works in radio,
What do you think
how he's going to do.
So after seeing us, do you think he's going to get
Like you guys missed
more?
Off the Wall, which is MJ,
We
Michael
missed-
Jackson.
I mean, to be fair, we missed
True
a lot.
Blue is Madonna.
I feel like
there
I
was
That was a
Madonna
big
in
hit
there.
song.
See, I thought this was mostly classic rock, so that's what I was going
mostly
with.
classic rock.
Well, Madonna is not classic rock.
I honestly had no idea what was going on. Though.
I knew one of them was Madonna.
I think I would have got one.
Holy shit! You get a time limit on that?
Well, they were laughing too much and everything.
know how many.
No, they did it incredibly well. They got 32.
Oh, I didn't want to know.
What? Oh. All right, Ted, are you ready here?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I think you can beat them. A little bit different this time. I will be telling you the answer.
Okay.
So you only get a couple seconds on it so that the audience at home knows what the actual answer is in all of these. All right, and we start. Coda.
Nope.
Led Zeppelin. Brother in Arms.
Sam Roberts band.
No. Dire Straits.
Oh,
Pleasure and Pain. Dr. Hook. In the Heat of the Night.
oh, Bryan Adams.
Pat Benatar. Make It Big.
Mr. Big.
Wham. Songs from the Big Chair. Tears for Fears. Rio.
Duran Duran.
Correct. Please.
Wang Chung.
Pet Shop Boys. Substance. New Order.
No.
Hotel California.
Eagles.
Yes. Ghost in the Machine.
No.
The Police. Get Lucky. Loverboy. Eliminator.
Oh, ZZ Top.
Correct. Tango in the Night. Fleetwood Mac. Bat Out of Hell.
Meatloaf.
Yes. Rubber Soul.
The Beatles.
Correct. Agents of Fortune. God, I need more cowbell.
Oh, Blue Oyster Cult.
Correct.
No, that's no. That's okay. That doesn't count. That doesn't
All
count.
right, we'll
That
remove
doesn't
that
count.
one.
I wouldn't have got it.
Parallel Lines.
Oh, and I know that too.
Let There Be Rock. Oh, sorry. Parallel Lines was Blondie.
Blondie, yeah.
Let There Be Rock
Def Leppard. No, that's not it.
is AC/DC. Power Slave.
No.
Iron Maiden. Technical Ecstasy. Black Sabbath. Peace sells, but who's buying?
John Lennon.
Megadeth.
Oh, let's give peace a chance. Yeah.
Wish You Were Here.
Pink Floyd.
Yes, correct. Diary of a Madman.
Bob Dylan. No.
Ozzy Osbourne. Iron Fist. Motorhead.
Oh,
Last Waltz.
this is the more metal.
The
I don't know if I
Band.
get it.
Slow Hand. Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Belladonna.
Madonna.
Stevie Nicks. Invisible Touch.
Oh, that is Genesis. Yeah.
He gets that one. Dreamboat Annie.
I fucking love Phil Collins. Dreamboat Annie is Heart.
Yes. Glass Houses.
Oh, shit. Sting? No.
No. Billy Joel. Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, Elton John.
Yes, correct.
That's what it was.
I got
Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
I got them old cosmic blues again, mama. Janis Joplin.
No.
Harvest.
Neil Young.
Correct. Joe's Garage. That's Zappa.
No.
Kind of Blue.
No, I don't know that one.
Miles Davis, guys.
No, yeah.
At Last.
Etta James.
Correct. A Love Supreme. John Coltrane.
No.
Time Out.
This is the jazz section. I got nothing.
Dave Brubeck Quartet. Off the Wall.
Michael Jackson.
Correct. She's So Unusual.
Oh, why can't I?
Cyndi Lauper. True Blue.
True Blue. How's that go?
I'm blue, but I did. I would die.
Come on. Madonna. Destroyer.
Kiss.
Correct. Kilroy Was Here. That Styx. Voulez-vous.
Voulez-vous. Is that ABBA?
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Goat's Head Soup.
Are there any repeat bands on this?
Only one.
Oh,
You're not going to get Goat's Head Soup? The answer is the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Are you an idiot?
I guess so, yeah. This is hard.
Goes to Hell.
Goes to Hell.
Alice Cooper. Graceland.
Paul Simon.
Correct. Blue.
Just Blue? Like
Yep,
the
Blue.
Blue album or Blue?
Blue.
I live in a blue house with a blue window.
We're going to have to revoke Ted's Canada card as well, I guess.
No.
That's too long.
Yeah,
That's
it's
too long. Joni Mitchell. Moondance.
Van Morrison.
Correct. Stealing Fire. Bruce Coburn. T for the Tilleman. Cat Stevens. Sundown.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Correct. The Joker.
Steve Miller Band.
Correct. Hair of the Dog. Nazareth. Scream Dream.
Don't know that one.
Ted Nugent. Mystery Girl. Roy Orbison. Wildflowers. Tom Petty. Synchronicity.
The Police.
Correct. Around the World in a Day. Prince. Presto. It's Rush.
This is fucking hard.
The Game.
The Game.
That's Queen. Aqualung.
Jethro Tull.
Correct. Always on My Mind.
Willie Nelson.
Correct. Oh, I knew that one. Roll On. Alabama.
No.
Sweet Revenge.
Conway Twitty.
John Prine.
Oh.
Black Moses. Isaac Hayes. Uprising.
CCR.
Nope.
No.
Bob Marley. The Harder They Come. Jimmy Cliff.
No.
Ryan Lund.
Mama Africa.
God, I don't know.
Peter Tosh. Theater of Pain.
Motley Crue.
Correct. 1984.
Van Halen.
Correct.
So I better get that one.
Johnny the Fox. Thin Lizzy. Knock 'em Dead Kid.
Oh, I know I should know this.
Trooper. Joshua Tree.
U2.
Correct. Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Bruce Springsteen.
Correct.
Ooh.
Can't Buy a Thrill.
That I don't know.
Steely Dan. Country Life.
John Denver.
No. Roxy Music.
What? Who?
Abraxas.
That sounds like a body part.
Calculus.
Santana. Don't Fight It. Red Rider. Leftoverture. That is Kansas.
Yeah.
Escape.
It's not Enrique. See, like they're all right there in my head. Go ahead.
Yeah, me too.
Journey.
Journey. Yeah.
Easter. That's a tough one. Patti Smith.
Oh.
Never Mind the Bullocks.
The Sex Pistols.
Correct. London Calling.
The Clash.
Correct. Rocket to Russia.
I don't know.
Oh, the Ramones.
I
Zen Arcade. Yeah, that's a tough one. Husker Du.
Mm.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Oh.
Stevie Wonder. Cosmo Factory.
No.
CCR. Machine Head.
Bush.
No. Deep Purple.
What?
Deja Vu.
Oh. Is that ABBA also?
No. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Fistful of Metal. Anthrax. Toys in the Attic.
Aerosmith.
Correct. Hounds of Love. Kate Bush.
No.
British
absolutely
Steel.
not. British Steel.
Judas Priest. Love at First Sting.
Love at First Sting. Wasp?
Scorpions.
Scorpion. Wasp is a good guess.
The Magician's Birthday.
Oh.
Uriah Heep.
That's what I guess. that wasn't it.
It's a good guess.
Sound of Silence.
Oh, Simon and Garfunkel.
Correct. Business as Usual. Men at Work. 31.
31.
No, you got 31.
Oh.
It's over.
What did they get?
11.
Oh, you only got 11?
Yeah, we got crushed.
We got murdered.
Oh.
We got murdered, man.
As we should.
That is tough. I'm actually impressed that you guys got 11.
No, Andrew got 11.
Did you?
Yeah.
Andrew got 10.
Andrew got 10, and Ryan would have got 2 if I was by myself.
Well, either way, you're dyeing your hair.
Yeah, I'll dye it. Yeah,
Are you gonna? I think you should let Dustin do it.
yeah. I think it's good to have an extra set of hands. I'm picking out the color, but I'll let Dustin, or I'll let whoever do it. I don't care who does it.
All right. Well, wow. 31 to 11. I thought you guys got 30. Like actually got 32. So when you said 31, I just about pooped. Are you kidding me? There's like 2 or 3 I should have got. But Vincent, thank you for running us through that game. It was very educational and tough. Anyone who got 58 or whatever, like that is, whew, that's a lot. And were any of those albums original press?
They all were original.
That was a good joke, Andrew. I promise. Yeah.
There's honestly in that list, like you named a bunch of bands I've never heard of. Never even heard of them. And I'm like, I consider myself to be pretty well versed in old music, but there's probably
It
10,
just shows a
15
lot
there.
of people don't pay attention to the album name. And, we got someone working in radio, and we did this with our customers, and like 58 was the number one score and those are people that are flipping through them all the time, seeing them, looking at the names and everything. And it's still hard. And it's also rapid fire, right? Like if I actually gave you this test and you had time to think about it, I'm sure you'd kind of scrounge up a few more.
But like I think my boss, like Peter Michaels from the Road to Stage podcast, I bet he could get at least 50 of those.
So should we drag him down? And
I think
that's
we
a
should make him
challenge.
do it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested because
curious.
we could make a little wager to see how many he gets. So
He's gonna dye his hair if he doesn't get over.
well, you guys line up all the
58.
people that you think could do well on this, and we'll line up. We'll go ahead and quiz them and see if anyone can beat Ted's 31.
The bet is, Peter Michaels, I'm calling you out on this. If you get less than 50, you got to shave the beard off.
Yeah.
He just won't do that. I tell you that right now. He's under no obligation to do it. But we better wrap up here just because things are going long. But Vincent, again, thank you so much for coming, doing the interview, running this game, hanging out, and once again, just for all of your support. And really quick, because I know Walsh had this question, we'll just give you that plug. Vincent at Rock On Records, they also sell record players.
No, we definitely do. We've been getting into a lot more vintage equipment. That's what we like. It's 2-channel. It was made to play music. Unlike the modern stuff that's designed for surround sound and everything else, you're never going to get a better quality sound than the stuff made. The glory years were the 60s and the 70s.
Throw on your David Blaine record. Yeah,
exactly. Thank you very much for having me, guys. I always have a great time here with you.
And there we go. We made it through yet another episode of Oh Dear. Thought it'd be quicker with just 4 of us, but I don't think that matters. But all that's left to do, as usual, is just get everyone's final thoughts.
This is a really fun episode. I'm not a big music buff. I don't know if you guys could tell or not, but I had a blast. Just I've obviously heard of a lot of those artists and stuff, but I've never really tried to remember the name of an album or the name of a song, but it was a really good exercise, and it just shows how knowledgeable the staff at Rock On Records actually is, especially if their employee got over 80 of those correct. That's very, very knowledgeable. So if you guys have any questions about music, Rock On Records is the place to go.
I thought you were gonna say to ask you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can hit me up too. I'll give you some
if you
advice.
want to know about the song Blue.
Yeah.
by Eiffel 65.
I just echo Ryan. I mean, it was a really fun night. I like the music aspect, and I really like that the records are coming back and vinyl's coming back and getting back to that album thing. Like we grew up a little kind of after the vinyl thing in our age, but we had the CDs, and like you knew what song was coming next. Like I still hear songs on the radio or whatever, and I remember it was on a CD that I listened to,
Yeah, big
and I'd be like
shiny tunes.
but I'd be like, I know what song should be coming next. because you remember that CD, and I think vinyl's the same way. So that's really cool.
Yeah, the music trivia was actually really fun. I'm actually surprised I knew as many of those as I did, because as much as I do like music, I don't pay attention to album names. So pat myself on the back for that one. But thanks for having me up at the table, boys. It was good to be up here for a change, and hopefully I didn't completely blow it like I did the ad reads.
Don't get used to it.
I apologize to all of the episode sponsors for the botched ad reads.
Yeah, but we edit that part out. So
All right,
We fix it in post.
But it wasn't bad. Honestly, it wasn't like perfect, but it wasn't bad.
And honestly, Erin's actually not that great either. So
she's gross too.
yeah.
Her hair looks better now, though.
She's not sick. She's just gross. Anyways, let's wrap up episode 36 of Oh Dear. A huge thank you once again to our episode sponsor, Rock On Records, and of course to Vincent for joining us and for his continued support of the podcast. I already just said that, but we'll say it again. Thank you as always to Communal Creative Studios for the use of their studio, and Riley for being just very silent over there tonight. It was great. And of course to our presenting sponsor, Bo's Bar and Stage. Lastly, as always, thank you to you for listening to the Oh Dear podcast. For Kevin Walsh, Ryan Lund, and Andrew Russell, I'm Ted Emmett, and we'll see you next time.
And I just want to say,